Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Hokage. My brother is Uchiha Madara. Chapter 21. Baiwu Town. The main reason why there are so many ninja clans and ninja clan branches here is that the geographical location here is very special. Not only is the land fertile, but it is also close to the sea and rich in aquatic products. In addition, there are 3 mineral veins nearby. An iron mine, a silver mine, and a special mine containing a small amount of chakra metal. Iron ore is the main material for making various ninja tools. Silver mines represent wealth, and chakra metal is a scarce material that improves the combat effectiveness of ninjas. As these 3 mines are in the territory of the Uchiha clan, they naturally want to monopolize them. However, the geographical location here is too special, and it can be described as a mixture of good and bad. Even if the Uchiha completely controls this place in a short time, it will not be able to develop resources here with peace of mind due to threats from all sides. Therefore, the Uchiha can only settle for the second best and make this an area where many ninja clans coexist. As the manager of this area, the Uchiha only needs to supervise and manage here, and collect the mining materials on time every month. Simply put, the Uchiha eats meat and lets other ninjas drink soup. However, it is not so easy for the Uchiha to completely eat this piece of meat. Among them, the Hyuga clan has a branch stationed here, and it came earlier than the Uchiha clan. Although the overall strength of the Hyuga clan is not as good as that of the Uchiha clan, it is not comparable to other ninja clans. If the Uchiha clan uses the power of the entire clan, it may really be able to completely destroy the Hyuga clan, but in that case, it will cause the Uchiha clan to be seriously injured and no longer have the ability to face the covetous eyes of the Senju clan. The Senju clan also has such concerns. This is like the 3 kingdoms in the Warring States period. The Uchiha clan and the Senju clan are evenly matched, and the Hyuga clan is indeed like a stubborn fence-sitter. The only possibility is that the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan cooperate to destroy this wavering ninja clan together. However, the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan have been enemies for hundreds of years and it is impossible for them to join forces. The Senju and Uchiha clans have been suppressing and winning over the Hyuga clan in secret for so many years, but the Hyuga clan is a complete mess. They don't break up with either side, but they don't really make friends with either side. And this situation is maintained by the Hyuga clan secretly, and the Hyuga clan has continued so tenaciously. After listening to the situation of the Hyuga clan, Uchiha Yu combined the original work and suddenly found that the Hyuga clan was not simple. In later generations, the ninja clans in the Warring States period basically disappeared in the long river of history. Only the Hyuga clan stubbornly stood up to the end and became the first family of the Land of Fire. Even in the next era of ninjas, the Hyuga clan survived to the first family in the ninja world. A simple fence-sitter would never survive that long. And this time, the Uchiha clan asked for help, apparently because they found a large number of ninjas from overseas gathering, and they seemed to want to occupy the mines owned by the Uchiha clan. In fact, the Uchiha added manpower to prevent other ninjas in Baiwu town from making any small moves in secret. Especially the Hyuga clan, because according to some intelligence, the Hyuga clan had frequent personnel transfers some time ago. Although I don't know the specific situation, as an understanding of the Hyuga clan, Uchiha feels that it has to be guarded. The profession of ninja is not quite the same as the anime that Uchiha Yu watched in his previous life. The reason why he has the instantaneous combat power of a Jonin, even comparable to that of an elite Jonin, is that he is not very sure to face opponents who are much higher than himself. The main reason is the fighting style of ninjas. The biggest rule of the ninja profession is that there are no rules. Sneak attacks, hidden weapons, assassinations, poisoning, traps. These methods that are called insidious and rotten in some martial arts worlds are the norm here. The Naruto I saw in my previous life was just the ninja world seen from the perspective of a hot-blooded and brainless boy. His fighting style is to use a terrifying amount of chakra to push and fight. In real ninja battles, most of the above-mentioned, low-class ones are the mainstream, and when fighting, it is not that 2 people stand there and declare war, then fight for hundreds of rounds, and finally someone loses and dies. The fight between life and death is often a group of ninjas ambush one or some ninjas, arrange everything, and then attack and concentrate fire at a certain moment. Or some ninjas, when they find another group of ninjas ambushing, either retreat decisively or use the opponent's trick to kill the opponent. Now Uchiha Yu, except for his extraordinary instantaneous combat power, is very lacking in lurking, hidden weapons, assassination, poisoning, traps, etc. At the same time, his combat awareness is still insufficient. Although the family rated him as a special Jonin based on his performance, because of those shortcomings, he rated his overall strength as a mere Chunin. Moreover, he thought this was already very high. This was the position he had the confidence to give himself after continuous special training and hard work during this period. Therefore, he was sent by Uchiha Tajima to do the mission with Madara this time, and he felt that his strength was not suitable. He thought about refusing, but unfortunately he was rejected by Uchiha Tajima, and the look in Uchiha Tajima's eyes at that time was very strange. The refusal was fruitless, and Uchiha Yu could only bite the bullet and come with Madara. However, for safety, he decided to listen to everyone's arrangements throughout the process and be an unknown little transparent. However, after listening to Captain Uchiha Jing's series of intelligence analysis, he originally planned to go back after completing the mission, but he had more worries. He asked unconsciously, "Captain Jing, I have some doubts, I wonder if you can answer them for me." "Oh, you, is there anything you want to ask?" Although Uchiha Jing was a little surprised by Uchiha Yu's question, he did not show any dissatisfaction because of Uchiha Yu's performance before. Instead, he expected Uchiha Yu to ask some simple questions, so that his answer would better reflect his thoughts on giving advice to the younger generation. "Captain Jing, what is your specific identity in Baiwu Town?" "I am the captain of the Uchiha branch stationed in Baiwu Town, and I am also the current mayor of Baiwu Town." "Then, as the mayor, how much authority do you have?" "Authority. The authority of the mayor is determined by the clan. We Uchiha have the power to mediate internal disputes in Baiwu Town, the power to collect rent and taxes here, and the power to urgently recruit ninjas when combat power is needed." "Is that so? Then, who owns the 3 mines?" "The 3 mines are shared by all ninja clans, mined together, and shared together. However, we Uchiha occupy 50% of them, and other ninja clans share the other 50% together." "How much does the Hyuga clan get?" 10%. 10%. Of course, on the surface it's 10%. Although the Hyuga clan is not as good as the Uchiha clan, its foundation is also good, and it is secretly involved with many ninja clans. According to our analysis, they should have stolen at least 20% of the resources from other ninja clans. More than 20%. Doesn't that mean that he owns at least 30% of the mineral resources? Isn't the Uchiha clan worried that the Hyuga clan will continue to grow? Haha, grow. Do you know how much share the Hyuga clan occupied before our Uchiha clan entered Baiwu Town? What is their status? 80%. The Hyuga clan occupied 80% of the share here. Later, because the Uchiha and the Hyuga clan had some friction, Uchiha took the opportunity to take over here and redistribute the share of benefits here. Quote. Do you know why we Uchiha only occupy 50%, and only give 10% to the Hyuga clan? Did the Uchiha do this on purpose? Smart, the Hyuga clan's network of relationships here is too stubborn, and the Uchiha cannot uproot it immediately. We only give the Hyuga clan 10% of the share. As the Hyuga clan, which once had 80% of the share, will definitely not be satisfied. Although the Hyuga clan has a good foundation, it is notorious for bullying the weak and fearing the strong, and it dares not continue to confront us Uchiha, so what do you think they will do? Uchiha Jing said so, and the other Uchiha ninjas also smiled in response, obviously knowing the way in it. When Uchiha Madara next to him heard this, his face was also thoughtful. Obviously, in his past life, he had only focused on the development of the family base, but he was very blank about how to build and operate. Of course, he didn't really want to know. So, after Madara pondered for a while and felt annoyed, he decisively stopped thinking about it. Madara didn't understand these twists and turns, but he didn't want to continue to make profits in this aspect. According to his idea, the truly powerful Uchiha is the kind of existence that makes people powerless, so powerful that any conspiracy is not worth mentioning. And Uchiha Madara did it in the future. Unfortunately, in hundreds of years, Uchiha has only produced one like him. If he can live forever, then Uchiha can continue to prosper. If he doesn't exist, Uchiha will ultimately be just a relatively powerful ninja clan, but it can't break through the sky. In the face of Uchiha Jing's earnest teachings, Uchiha Yu fell into a long contemplation. The Uchiha clan is not stupid, on the contrary, it is very smart. To put it bluntly, this move of Uchiha in Baiwu town is a conspiracy. Even if the Hyuga clan knows, they will not easily give up the resources here. According to the current situation, there will be only two endings for the Hyuga clan. A better ending is that the Hyuga clan will be more honest and peaceful, and may be able to embezzle some resources of other ninja clans, but they will eventually become disloyal because of this behavior. By then, the Hyuga clan will lose its prestige in Baiwu town, and the Uchiha clan will completely control Baiwu town, oppress the Hyuga clan, and even make the Hyuga clan branch unable to survive here. The worst ending is that the Hyuga clan is not honest, cannot fight the Uchiha clan, and will encroach on the interests of other ninja clans and collect more resources from other ninja clans. In this way, the ninja clans that have suffered great losses will rely on the Uchiha clan, or even secretly unite to put pressure on the Hyuga clan. In the end, the Hyuga clan will also be expelled from Baiwu town. By then, the Uchiha clan will also completely control this place. No matter which of these two endings, the final goal is to expel the Hyuga clan here, the difference is just a matter of time. However, Uchiha Yu is a time traveler, and he deeply understands the character of the sixth elder of the Hyuga clan. Moreover, it is undeniable that the Hyuga clan can make the correct choice at every keynote of the change of the era in the Naruto world, and it is definitely not a simple coward. Will the Hyuga clan really sit back and wait for death and let this situation develop? However, due to insufficient information, Uchiha Yu can only guess the above in his heart. After all, he can't tell others that he knows something about the plot. Today's Hyuga has always been bullying the weak and fearing the strong. It strikes hard at other small ninja clans, and avoids the two ninja clans, Senju and Uchiha. If it can, it will shrink together and hold on. It's worth paying attention to, but it's not worth paying too much attention to. Did you find anything? After the end of the parliament, Uchiha Madara asked casually on the way out with Yu. Why do you ask that? Team, after I answered your question, I saw that you were not relieved, but in deep thought. Based on my understanding of you, you should have discovered something. Quote. It's not a discovery, maybe I'm overthinking it. Overthinking it? I'm a little curious about what you're overthinking about. Facing Uchiha Yu's discovery without any reason, perhaps other people really don't care, but Uchiha Madara won't. Uchiha Madara recalled the situation before the last Uchiha was attacked, and found that this little cousin had shown a similar expression. After learning about the situation from Izuna, Madara knew that the little cousin had smelled an unusual breath at that time. Therefore, Madara was very concerned about his little cousin's wild thoughts. Looking at Madara's burning eyes, Yu was stunned for a moment, but he didn't hide it anymore and said some of his feelings. I think this mission may not be that simple. How do you say it? What is the purpose of the overseas ninja invasion? Quote. Of course, they are plundering the mineral resources. The mineral resources are all unprocessed ores. A few hundred kilograms can't extract much. Even if the ninjas are allowed to load them at will, how much can they get at one time? This may be urgently needed by overseas ninjas, and there are also sealing scrolls. Do you know the cost of sealing scrolls, Madara? A good sealing scroll will be scrapped after 10 uses, but the cost of a sealing scroll cannot be recovered even if the ore is loaded 100 times. The consumption cost is so high, they still come to plunder. Doesn't this mean that they really need these ores? If I need something in particular, I will not be stingy with consumption. Quote. 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 Uchiha Yu looked at Uchiha Madara and gave him a thumbs up. You are noble, you are great, you are the young patriarch of the Uchiha family, you are rich and willful. Perhaps Uchiha Madara also realized that his words just now were inappropriate, and waved his hand awkwardly and said, okay, tell me what you think. If it were me, I would think about trying to trade. Instead of using the sealing scroll to hold the ore, don't you think it is more cost-effective to exchange the sealing scroll for the ore? Maybe other ninjas are not willing. If you have a piece of gold, but you don't have much ability to protect it. At this time, there is a person who has no gold but has a lot of weapons staring at you. Are you willing to sacrifice some of the gold in exchange for a weapon that makes you powerful, or risk losing all the gold and fight to the death with the other party? Quote. After hearing Yu's analysis, although Madara wanted to say that he wanted the cake and the weapon. However, if he really faced such a situation, Madara knew that he would choose to trade some of the gold first, and then get the weapon, and then snatch the gold back. Thinking of this, Madara suddenly realized that his idea was to take trading as the first action. At this moment, Madara's eyes looking at Yu also changed. Shocked, solemn, and puzzled. Madara was shocked by Uchiha Yu's sharp eyes that could see through the surface to the essence. Confused by the crisis behind Uchiha Yu's worries. At the same time, he didn't understand what kind of things were hidden behind these things. Seeing Madara looking at him inquiringly, Uchiha Yu did not explain too much and said, "Actually, I don't understand the details. However, I always feel that the Hyuga clan is not simple. At least, they will not sit idly by." "You mean, all this may be caused by the Hyuga clan?" "I don't know, but no matter what, I think it is necessary to leave some retreat when dealing with overseas ninjas. How to do it? If possible, I hope you can notify the family and send more ninjas over." Quote. How many? The more the better. What's the reason? The family is now fighting externally. Without an absolutely convincing reason, they will not deploy too many people. Can't you make one up? Quote. For example, I remember that the Uchiha who attacked Yi had a Byakugan in one eye, so I have reason to suspect that all this is a means for the Hyuga clan to provoke the Uchiha and send you to fight further and benefit from it. Quote. When Madara heard Yu's words, he looked at Yu with a very strange look. There was silence, weirdness, and fear. His little cousin would definitely be black if he was cut open. Fortunately, Madara still understood Yu's character. As long as it didn't threaten what Yu really cared about and didn't affect Yu's normal life, Yu generally wouldn't care about anything. I'll persuade Izuna later to stop messing with Yu. Ban thought so. Although he knew that the fight between Izuna and Yu was just a small fight, and they were all maintained within the normal range of competition, but Ban could foresee that if he continued like this, his beloved brother would definitely be pitted. Unfortunately, sometimes, some things cannot be settled peacefully by persuasion. And some pits are not completely miserable. Uchiha Madara separated from Uchiha Yu with a heavy heart and went back to their rooms. Uchiha Yu continued to use the water attribute to cleanse his hidden injury on his right foot, while Uchiha Madara thought in the room for half an hour, and then sent a message to the family through an eagle-like summoning beast. Then he left the house and went to where Uchiha Jing was, and talked with him for more than an hour. However, Madara's face was not good when he left, and he sighed with helplessness. Obviously he did not convince Uchiha Jing. "You, have you expected this? I don't know how you will deal with it." Uchiha Madara thought to himself, and finally all his helplessness turned into motivation for cultivation. Time flies, and another 2 days have passed. Everything seems normal, but behind this calm, the atmosphere has a more dull feeling. Finally, on this day, Uchiha received the news. The sea ninja is coming. Uchiha Jing did not hesitate at all and made a series of arrangements decisively. He led a team of Chunin to block the front, while Uchiha Gong and another special Jonin led other members to follow behind and ambush or support according to the signal. And Madara and Yu were divided into 2 teams. A team of Chunin and Genin led by Madara guarded the situation near the mine and prevented the ninja from attacking them from behind. As long as they were found, they would just send a signal directly, without facing head-on. As for Uchiha Yu, perhaps because of his age, or because his previous performance was too insignificant, he was arranged to stay with Uchiha Ming to prevent the enemy from raiding the Uchiha base camp. Under normal circumstances, this is the safest place. If the battle goes well, Yu basically does not have to fight. If the battle if things don't go smoothly, you can also get the news in advance, assess the risks, and think about whether to run away. Therefore, Yu is very satisfied with this arrangement. Although Madara was somewhat dissatisfied with Yu's behavior, he didn't say anything in the end. After the team was assigned, they began their respective actions. Ninjas either don't move, or once they move, they are very efficient. However, a few minutes later, Madara and several other teams left the Uchiha branch station one after another. Although Uchiha Yu was on a garrison mission, he was not really idle. About half an hour after Madara left, Uchiha Ming came with a group of people, wearing various clothes, and there was no Uchiha fan logo on them. Let me introduce you. These are some ninjas from the Baiwu Town Ninja Clan. They will work with us to maintain the security of Baiwu Town. After Uchiha Ming's introduction, Uchiha Yu also quickly knew the approximate abilities and strengths of these ninjas. Among these ninjas, the highest combat power is Chunin, and most of them are Genin. However, because each family occasionally has one or two special tricks and secrets, with mutual cooperation, even the special ninjas will feel a little tricky when they encounter them. Uchiha Yu is very interested in the secrets of these families, but unfortunately these things are secrets that are not passed on. Even if their family becomes a subsidiary family of Uchiha, they will not share these things. Therefore, Uchiha Yu is just thinking about it for now. At this time, Uchiha Yu suddenly felt that several ninjas were a little different. However, Uchiha Yu did not show it, but under the leadership of Uchiha Ming, he arranged the tasks for each of these people and let them disperse. After all the ninjas from the ninja clans left, Uchiha Yu asked Uchiha Ming, "Brother Ming, which clan are those standing in the third row from the right-hand side?" Uchiha Ming was stunned when he heard Uchiha Yu's question. Although he was curious about why Uchiha Yu asked this question, he recalled the positions of those ninjas before and told Uchiha Yu about it. "That's the Feihua clan and the Chenyin clan." Uchiha Ming spoke up and told Uchiha Yu about the situation of the two ninja clans. The Feihua clan is born with very little chakra, but has a strong control, so they like to use chakra to manipulate ninja tools to attack. And their ninja clan has a secret technique called Flying Flower Technique. This secret technique can allow chakra to merge with vegetation for a short time, turning the branches and leaves of vegetation into terrible lethal weapons. Among them, the flying flower is the most terrifying as a hidden weapon, which is somewhat similar to the flying flower picking leaves in the martial arts world, which can hurt people. And the Chenyin clan is good at camouflage, and is good at using a special combination of local conditions and ninjutsu, which can make the surrounding environment form haze. Hidden in the haze, it can isolate perception, so it is called Chenyin. Uchiha Yu heard about the situation of the two clans of ninjas and their signature methods, but his brows frowned unconsciously. "Brother Ming, what are the attributes of the chakra of the ninjas of these two clans?" "What attributes?" The Chenyin clan is basically dominated by wind and earth attributes, while the Feihua clan is dominated by water and earth. Wind and earth, and water and earth. Then, is there a ninja in the Feihua clan who may have pure water attributes? Impossible. Why? Because the Feihua clan is born with very little chakra. They often use refined chakra to maintain their own earth and water attributes in a certain ratio, which is convenient for the use of the family's secret techniques. Quote, "No exceptions. Exceptions, unless the other party does not intend to practice the family secrets, or that is not from their clan at all." Wait, did you find something? "Well, Brother Ming, I am born with a strong sense of some attributes. Among the group of ninjas just now, I feel that several people have rich water attribute chakra." "What? Are you sure you are not kidding?" When Uchiha Ming heard Uchiha Yu's words, his originally casual face suddenly became solemn. And Uchiha Yu was not kidding. Full-level living body technique. Now he has completed the transformation of the three attributes of thunder, fire, and water. Uchiha Yu also has extraordinary perception of the chakra fluctuations of these three attributes. Just now in the crowd, he did sense that the water attribute of a group of people was a bit too transcendent. Although Baiwu Town is close to the sea, it is understandable that there are some ninjas with water attributes, but if you want to have such water attributes, you must at least go through a long period of water attribute ninjutsu training. Looking at Uchiha Yu's serious and affirmative expression, Uchiha Ming's originally casual expression gradually became solemn, and even a little panicked. Although he is only a chunin, in Baiwu Town, the captain and his men are responsible for deterrence and fighting, while he is responsible for the logistics of Uchiha. Therefore, he actually knows more about the details of Uchiha's deployment in Baiwu Town than Captain Uchiha Jing. If Baiwu Town really hides ninjas with strong water attributes as Uchiha Yu said, and they are hidden in some ninja clans in Baiwu Town, this matter is serious. Even the entire Baiwu town may not be as stable as they planned. I'll watch here, you go and notify the captain and them. Uchiha Ming realized this and whispered to Uchiha Yu quietly. However, Uchiha Yu shook his head, looked at the thick fog rising around him, and sighed, maybe, it's too late. Uchiha Ming also realized the problem after being reminded by Uchiha Yu, and his face changed suddenly. No, this is the mist hidden technique. Uchiha Ming quickly took out the ninja tool from the ninja tool backpack behind him, and looked around with a cautious face. He turned around to remind Uchiha Yu something, but found that Uchiha Yu had disappeared behind him without knowing when. No. Before Uchiha Ming thought about where Uchiha Yu went, he felt a chill coming. Although he did not open the Sharingan, his years of combat awareness made him instinctively avoid the attack of the black shadow that suddenly flashed behind him, and while dodging, he raised his hand and threw the kunai in his hand, directly hitting the black shadow that passed by. However, the black shadow did not splash blood as expected. After the kunai hit the black shadow, a stream of water appeared directly at the place where it was hit. Then the water flow became more and more, and finally in the next breath, it turned into a splash of water and fell to the ground. Water clone. There are many kinds of clone techniques, the most basic of which is based on chakra and formed by seals, body art. This kind of clone art is like a bubble, which will be directly destroyed by a slight attack. Even if this kind of clone is extremely proficient in hard work and can move for a moment, it still cannot escape the situation of being fragile. And this kind of clone art has an advanced version. That is the attribute clone. The clone formed by this clone art has the characteristics of attributes. It is not only more flexible, but also will not be destroyed immediately when attacked as long as the damage is not too serious. Among them, the water clone and the earth clone are the most outstanding. The fire clone is too explosive, the thunder clone is difficult to control, and the wind clone is the most unstable. The water clone is the most commonly used ninjutsu method by overseas ninjas. When Uchiha Ming saw that it was a clone, his face changed, but he jumped away from the spot without hesitation. The next moment he left, a knife light passed quietly, silently. If Uchiha Ming had hesitated for even a second, the place where the knife light passed through would not be the air, but his neck. Hiss. Uchiha Ming quietly took a deep breath and calmed himself down as much as possible. The most terrifying method of overseas ninjas is to assassinate silently in places where they can't see. Eyes, throat, heart, temple. Overseas ninjas specialize in attacking such human fatal points, and are extremely good at listening to the sounds in the thick fog. Among them, the sound of a person's heartbeat. Although as an Uchiha, such a situation would not make him lose his composure, but it also made him be 20% alert. If he is not careful, the next moment may be a life and death crisis. The thick fog became thicker at this moment, and the visible range of 2 or 3 meters was gradually reduced. And in various places in the thick fog, there would be some noises from time to time. Some noises were the collision of weapons, some noises were screams, and some noises were fleeing and chasing. All these changes made Uchiha Ming extremely solemn. He didn't dare to go to those places to provide support rashly, and was always on guard against the murderous intentions hidden in the thick fog. At this moment, Uchiha Ming was also thinking about how to break the situation. In the mist hidden art, the thick fog blocked his vision. He didn't have the Sharingan, so his vision was basically useless. And there are only 3 ways to deal with such a large-scale mist hidden art. First, break the mist hidden art. Even if the wind and fire escape techniques he mastered could not completely dispel the thick fog, they could at least clear a piece of sight and buy him time to escape from the thick fog area. However, it takes time to perform ninjutsu. Although it may only take 1 or 2 seconds, when performing ninjutsu, if a ninja attacks him closely, it will be difficult for him to make an effective counterattack. Second, be careful to deal with the mist hidden art and insist on the arrival of support. In Baiwu Town, a mist hidden art of such a scale will definitely attract the attention of others. As long as he holds on, I believe that it won't be long before foreign aid will come. However, Uchiha Ming was also worried about this, because most of the Uchiha clan ninjas had left Baiwu Town to stop overseas ninjas, and they didn't know when they would be back. Even if the ninjas in Baiwu Town came to support, Uchiha Ming didn't dare to believe it at this moment. And finally, it was a counterattack. Find the ninjas who secretly maintain the mist hidden technique, just interrupt their casting, or simply kill them completely, and the mist hidden technique will be broken. However, in the thick fog where you lose your sight, you are already at a disadvantage. If you make too much noise, it is easy to put yourself in a more dangerous situation. If you was still here just now. Uchiha Ming sighed lightly, regretting not keeping a close eye on Uchiha Yu. With him protecting me, I can at least cast a ninjutsu with peace of mind and drive away part of the fog. At this moment, Uchiha Ming didn't know that Uchiha Yu, a family genius who was less than 5 years old, could survive in the thick fog. Ding, ding. Just when Uchiha Ming was thinking, he suddenly heard a short and fast fighting sound not far away, and a familiar curse came from it. Uchiha Ming heard this, and his face was happy. Because that voice was the voice of a familiar ninja in their Uchiha squad. He moved in an instant, and he quickly went to the other side. At the moment of approaching the other side, the Uchiha was alert and held a knife in front of him, and retreated violently at the moment when Uchiha Ming approached. It's me, Uchiha Ming. Brother Ming, it's you, huh? The Uchiha was 2 years younger than Uchiha Ming, and was assigned to Baiwu Town after Uchiha Ming. Uchiha Ming used to take care of him, so he often called Uchiha Ming Brother Ming. After seeing Uchiha Ming, he let go of his original vigilance and quickly said, Brother Ming, what should we do now? Uchiha Ming was secretly relieved when he heard the other party's words, and gave up the idea of rushing out at the risk of his life. He said, you protect me, I will use wind escape to clear an area first. Okay, Brother Ming. After the other party nodded, Uchiha Ming did not hesitate, put the kunai in his hand back into the backpack behind him, and began to make seals quickly. Fire escape, how? Just when Uchiha Ming gathered chakra and lungs and was about to spit it out, he suddenly felt a chill on his back. A cold short knife passed through his back. You. Uchiha Ming looked back and looked at the Uchiha behind him, but found that the other party had a smile on his face, and the next moment it turned into a face he had never seen before. Careless. Uchiha Akira fell straight to the ground, and the ninja had no intention of finishing off Uchiha Akira and killing him quickly. He jumped and left, letting Uchiha Akira quietly feel the passing of life. But the next moment, a black shadow passed by his eyes. The ninja didn't see clearly what it was, but he saw the whole world shaking, and vaguely saw a familiar body. The body was headless, blood was still gushing from the neck, and the short knife in his hand had not been pulled out of Uchiha Akira's body. That body seemed to be his. Who is it? Before losing consciousness, the ninja still had a smile on his lips, but his wide eyes were filled with confusion. However, what he didn't know was that Uchiha Akira saw it. When death came, his eyes were suddenly full of insight in the threat of life and death. He opened his eyes and saw who the figure that flew by was. It was a thin figure less than 1.2 meters tall, holding a short knife in his hand, and a hot flame attached to the blade. Not only that, he also saw something even more unforgettable. Under the Magatama Sharingan, he saw the eyes of the thin figure, which also exuded scarlet. Although they both have one Magatama, the power of his pupils is purer and stronger than his. It's him, it's actually him. Uchiha Akira coughed up blood, his body was cold, and the Sharingan that had just opened was difficult to close. His face showed disbelief, admiration and regret. Looking at the figure disappearing in the thick fog, he could vaguely hear the screams that stopped abruptly, and there was only one thought in his mind. It turned out that genius really exists. One Magatama Sharingan can hardly capture the clear instant body technique, and the Uchiha flame sword technique that is about to enter the hall, but it is a 5-year-old Uchiha clan member. Uchiha Akira can foresee that the boy will shock the entire Warring States period in the future, and at the same time he regrets that he can't watch his growth all the way. Gradually, Uchiha Akira's consciousness began to blur, and he didn't know when the sound in his ear stopped. Faintly, he seemed to hear something muttering in his ear, and then he completely lost consciousness. It was 3 days later when Uchiha Ming woke up again. Ming, you finally woke up. Hey, I'm not dead. Uchiha Ming opened his eyes weakly and found that he was not dead. His Uchiha companions were taking care of him. He wanted to get up, but he felt a sharp pain in front of him. Ming, don't move. You were pierced through the body, but you were lucky enough. Your heart was lucky to escape. Fortunately, you were found in time, otherwise you would not have just lost too much blood. The Uchiha ninja who took care of him spoke up and was happy for Uchiha Ming's awakening, but then he began to talk about the current situation. Then, as the other party chattered, Uchiha Ming's eyes gradually became clear, but his face was more silent. The overseas ninja did come over, and was repelled by Captain Jing and Madara together. This sneak attack was obviously a premeditated plan by overseas ninjas. The purpose was not to confront them head-on, but to lure the tiger away from the mountain, transfer most of the main forces of the Uchiha and other ninja clans, secretly attack Baiwu Town, plunder Baiwu Town's resources at a very fast speed, and then evacuate. Although the overseas ninjas' schemes were very good, all conspiracies were paper tigers in front of absolute strength. Especially in front of the absolute Uchiha. After all, the overseas ninjas still underestimated the Uchiha's combat power, as well as the determination of the Shirogiri Town ninjas to protect Shirogiri Town. In order to defend Shirogiri Town, the remaining ninjas in the entire town rose up to resist, even if all the elite ninjas died, even if only one Uchiha of the Uchiha clan desperately protected another Uchiha's juniors fighting against the enemy and was severely injured, they still did not give in at all. In the end, Shirogiri Town won after all. Even though it was very tragic, the Shirogiri Town ninjas proved their determination to fight to the death with the enemy, and the excellent quality of the Uchiha who would not give up a step for their companions. The above is excerpted from Uchiha Jing's consolation speech after the battle, and the content is slightly modified. It took Uchiha Ming a while to figure out what was going on, and then he immediately asked, "Then, what about Uchiha Yu? Is he okay?" "Yu is fine, fortunately you fought to protect him, he was the only one who survived this attack by chance." Lucky. Uchiha Ming heard his teammate's words, opened his mouth, wanted to say something, but didn't say it in the end. Because at this moment, he couldn't help but wonder if all this was an illusion, if someone had modified his memory. Can a 5-year-old boy really do that? Uchiha Ming lay on the hospital bed, his eyes far away, the little pain from every heartbeat, and the hidden pupil power in his eyes, seemed to silently tell him the truth. On the other side, in the courtyard where Madara and Yu lived. Madara practiced in the courtyard, waving away his inner boredom. Not far away from him, Yu sat in the shade of a big tree and drank tea quietly, occasionally picking up cakes on the table next to him to enjoy. Both of them were in their own worlds, as if there was an invisible barrier between them. In the end, Madara couldn't help his curiosity. After exhausting himself, he sat on the bench next to Uchiha Yu and drank the cold tea that Yu had prepared for him. He exhaled heavily, calmed his slightly rapid breathing, and then Madara asked, "You already had sneak attackers, right?" "No, I didn't know. It was only after the assignment that I realized that there were Kurigakur lurking among the ninja clans, well, overseas ninjas who were proficient in Kurigakur." "I believe you. Then why do you look like you owe me money? Your dear brother survived the enemy's blade, but he didn't get any comfort. You're very sad, don't you know? Get lost. I checked the injuries of those people, all the enemies, almost all of them were fatally wounded by a single blow." Quote. "What does that prove? You can see the assassins in the mist hidden technique." "No, then how can you find their positions accurately? I don't believe you can be as good at silent killing as they are." "You really guessed it right, but I am not good at silent killing, but I can sense the attribute changes when they use chakra." For the doubtful look from Madara, Uchiha Yu didn't say much, just said 3 words. Revitalization technique. After the transformation of the water attribute revitalization technique, his control over water broke through to another level. Among them, the water transforming ability not only allows him to hydrate some of his body's cells, but also manipulates the power of water to erode other people's bodies. For example, Uchiha Ming, his heart was pierced by a blow, because the heart itself is a place that is constantly expanding and beating to supply blood. Once a gap appears, it is difficult for the beating heart to heal well in the beating. Therefore, the heart is often one of the deadly points of enemy attacks. Uchiha Ming's heart was pierced, and he was beyond help. But after Uchiha Yu dealt with other overseas ninjas, he found that he was not dead yet, and seemed to have awakened the Sharingan. In a flash of inspiration, he used part of the water power accumulated in his body to enter his heart through the opponent's wound, and used the water attribute to temporarily repair Uchiha Ming's heart, and through the control of the water power, he resuscitated Uchiha Ming's heart. Originally, all this was Uchiha Yu's attempt to maintain. But Uchiha Ming was also lucky. In this process, Uchiha Yu found that his fire attribute accelerated the consumption of his body, but it could also accelerate metabolism. And this ability can also act on other people's bodies through chakra. While using water to maintain Uchiha Ming's body, Uchiha Yu used the fire attribute to accelerate Uchiha Akira's metabolism, promotes the healing of injuries. In the end, Uchiha Akira's heart was repaired by Uchiha Yu. To be precise, it was Uchiha Akira's heart that completed the self-healing process with the help of Uchiha Yu. However, those areas that were not wrapped by the fire attribute, such as the wounds that penetrated the body, except for the heart, were not repaired and could only recover slowly. In this process, Uchiha Akira saved his life, and Uchiha Yu discovered a special medical ninjutsu similar to the palm fairy technique during the experiment. It turns out that fire and water are not incompatible destruction. Sometimes, they can also produce life-saving vitality. As for the other Uchiha who died in the battle to protect Baiwu Town, Uchiha Yu could only sigh helplessly. It's not that he didn't want to save them, but when he found those people, they were either completely cold or incomplete. I don't understand. The overseas ninjas are hiding among those ninja clans. It is very likely that those ninja clans are secretly colluding with overseas ninjas. But why do you say that it is the overseas ninjas who are lurking in, and the various ninja clans have been fighting to the death? After a moment of silence, Madara still asked the question he wanted to ask the most. When you heard this, he looked at Madara and said slowly, Madara, what is the reason for us to come to Baiwu Town? Of course, it is to support this place and prevent the enemy from invading and destroying Baiwu Town. What about now? Of course, we repelled the overseas ninjas and protected this place, although the losses were heavy. Then, what about after this incident? Captain Jing should have sent a message to the family. If nothing unexpected happens, we should return to the family soon, and the family will send a group of clansmen to strengthen the garrison. Then, why strengthen the garrison? Of course, it is to prevent overseas ninjas from coming again, and there are also Hinata. Madara answered Yu's question, and suddenly looked up at Yu with a look of seeing a ghost. You are not going to take this opportunity to deal with the Hyuga branch, are you? Did you? Ban, why do you always look at me with suspicion? I just chose the most favorable way for Uchiha after the incident. Besides, I haven't made a final decision. Whether to do it or not is up to you to decide. Looking at Yu, Madara was silent at this moment. At this moment, Uchiha Madara could no longer regard his little cousin as an object of protection, and he even dared not to compete with him. If the previous incident with Uchiha Tianlu was a coincidence, then this time it could not be explained by an accident at all. This cousin is really full of bad water. If Yu was not from the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Madara would try his best to eliminate him as soon as possible. It was not because of Yu's talent and strength, but because his heart was too dark. Such a person is extremely lucky as a teammate, but as an enemy, it is the most terrible disaster. In this sneak attack, Uchiha lost several genin and even one chunin, and other ninjas were even more injured. However, in the entire Baiwu town, there was a ninja clan that did not experience this. That was the Hyuga ninja who had been hiding in the branch from beginning to end and had never participated in anything. Uchiha Yu had not been in Baiwu town for long, and he did not even remember all the names of other ninja clans. But Uchiha Yu knew that in the Warring States era, you could have dreams and hopes, goals and ambitions in your heart, but the premise of all this could not be separated from the core of the family. Only when the family is strong can you grow more steadily. In this era, Uchiha has only two attitudes towards ninja clans outside the family: submission and hostility. Even if they are close and bound by interests, no matter how much they open their hearts to each other, they cannot truly share honor and disgrace, life and death. There are selfish thoughts between ninja clans and each other. While absorbing nutrients from the outside world, try to suppress or destroy the development of surrounding ninja clans as much as possible to prevent those ninja clans from threatening their own clans after they grow and become stronger. This is the attitude of a core ninja clan. Therefore, although the Senju and Uchiha clans are sworn enemies and often fight to the death, they can tacitly start fighting at regular intervals and constantly consume the foundation of each other's surrounding races. Not only the Uchiha and Senju clans are like this, the Hyuga clan is like this, and even the ninja clans oppressed by them are the same. Every ninja clan hopes that they will not be oppressed, and then oppress others to climb higher. As for living in peace, sorry, no one has set that precedent. Except for families with common blood and common interests, all ninja clans will not trust anyone. Or in other words, they don't have the courage to do so. Even if some naive guys want to try, they don't recommend giving these naive guys some bloody lessons. Now, Baiwu Town has been attacked by overseas ninjas. Although it has also consumed the combat power of overseas ninjas, it has also suffered heavy losses. Only they can lick the pain in their hearts. Fortunately, it is not just one family that was injured. Everyone suffered losses, including the Uchiha. This pain allowed all the ninjas and the Uchiha clans to build a temporary bridge of mutual understanding. At the same time, it also stabilized the balance that might have been broken. However, in this stability, there was one ninja clan that was a bit dazzling. In Baiwu Town, the Hyuga clan was the only intact one. They had never lost anyone, and had never made any efforts to resist overseas ninjas. If no one said anything about this situation, it would be nothing. However, if the Uchiha clan, a powerful family in the Warring States period, took the lead, the interests of Baiwu Town would be redistributed according to the amount of effort, and the proportion of resources secretly occupied by the Hyuga clan would be taken back. At that time, these proportions would be redistributed to those ninjas. If the Hyuga clan chose to swallow their anger, then other ninjas would think that the Hyuga clan was easy to bully, and they would be afraid of the Uchiha clan, and all negative emotions would be tilted towards the Hyuga clan. And if the Hyuga clan seizes resources from those ninja clans again for the sake of profit, even if it is the same as before, the grief of all the ninja clans losing their core combat power will be provoked by the Hyuga clan and covered by the Hyuga clan. Those ninja clans who have been injured may not dare to do anything to the Hyuga clan, but the Hyuga clan will definitely use some obstacles and work without effort. Even if it is handled properly, the prestige of the Hyuga clan in Baiwu Town will collapse because of this incident. And if Uchiha can maintain this situation and continue to ferment, then it is not impossible to make the Hyuga clan a thorn in the eyes and flesh of the entire Baiwu Town, and it is not impossible to wish to get rid of it as soon as possible. However, Uchiha Yu did not say more about these things with his followers. His words are not important, and now in Uchiha the position in Chia Jing's heart is not as important as that of Madara. Moreover, between the clan leader's nephew and the young clan leader, who has more say, naturally there is no need to say more. Therefore, this afternoon, Uchiha Madara, who had been thinking silently for a long time, went to Uchiha Jing's place. This time, Uchiha Madara only stayed there for more than 20 minutes and left. But this time, it was Uchiha Jing who sent him out personally. Obviously, the mayor of Baiwu Town, the captain of the Uchiha branch, truly recognized the talent of the young clan leader. A few days later, a group of Uchiha came to Baiwu Town. Uchiha Yu felt a little familiar, and he also felt a strong murderous aura from them. Later, Uchiha Yu learned from Uchiha Madara that these people were all direct teams of Uchiha Tajima. This time, they came not only to increase manpower, but also to make some big moves. However, all this has nothing to do with Uchiha Yu. The reason is very simple. Uchiha Tajima asked Uchiha Yu to return to the family to recuperate on the grounds that he had experienced a great war and was not suitable for the subsequent arrangements. As the son of the clan leader, Madara still had the strength to stay and continue to fight. On the surface, this move was a clan leader's concern for his nephew, and it also reflected his willingness to hone his son. However, those who truly understood Uchiha Yu's talents saw something else. For example, Uchiha Madara, for example, Uchiha Ming. However, Uchiha Tajima was Madara's father after all. Although he realized that Tajima's arrangement was a little uncomfortable, he could not blame anything after all. Perhaps, after returning to the family, Madara would have a face-to-face negotiation with his father. Or, Madara would acquiesce to all this and pretend that nothing had happened. And all this was not important to Uchiha Yu. Although there was a calculation of him in the middle, if this calculation happened to be in line with his wishes, Uchiha Yu would not mind injuring himself. After all, Uchiha Yu does not fight for the day, he only wants 10,000 years. However, when returning to the family, the person who went back with Uchiha Yu surprised Uchiha Yu a little. "Brother Ming, I didn't expect you to be transferred back to the family." "Hehe, Lord Yu, you don't have to call me Brother Ming, just call me Ming. This life was saved by Lord Yu. If you don't abandon me, I am willing to follow you to death." On the way, Uchiha Ming handed over his loyalty to Uchiha Yu. Uchiha Yu decisively rejected Uchiha Ming, because he was still young and there was no need to make himself independent from the protection of his uncle. Although it was indeed his uncle who played tricks this time, he could understand the thoughts of an old father. Well, Uchiha Yu admitted that Uchiha Tajima did something really chilling, and it was impossible for Uchiha Yu not to have some special ideas. However, for the good things in the Uchiha secret library that have not been fully utilized, Uchiha Yu does not intend to turn against his good uncle. Being a grateful person may seem to be easy to suffer and a little silly to outsiders. However, a grateful person is also more likely to be invested in by others. Before completely hollowing out Uchiha Tajima, Uchiha Yu did not intend to stand on the opposite side of his uncle, nor did he want to enter the power struggle of the family so quickly. "Brother Ming, you should be loyal to the family and the clan leader." "Understand, Lord Yu, I, Uchiha Ming, will always be loyal to the family and the clan leader, but this does not prevent me from respecting and worshipping Lord Yu." Uchiha Ming spoke with flattery, and it seemed that he did not have the pride of a pure-blooded Uchiha, but it made Uchiha Yu look up to him by 3 points. This guy is a smart man. "Brother Ming, you are really not Uchiha. Lord Yu, aren't you too?" One big and one small, the two Uchiha looked at each other, but the corners of their mouths were slightly raised, and then flashed away. After that, the two of them stopped communicating, as if they were back to the beginning when they were unfamiliar with each other. You called him Brother Ming, he called him Xiao Yu, as if Uchiha Ming's loyalty had never appeared. After returning to the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Yu was asked by Uchiha Tajima to have a heart-to-heart talk. Originally, Uchiha Tajima wanted to test whether Uchiha Yu would be dissatisfied with his decision, but Yu did not give him that opportunity and questioned Uchiha Tajima right away. He questioned the clan leader Tajima, why he did not let him stay to help Brother Ban, and he was worried about leaving him, Brother Ban, alone there. In this regard, Uchiha Yu expressed great dissatisfaction with Tajima, even though Tajima explained that it was for Yu's sake and he did not want his brother's son to have any mishaps. Tajima spoke with deep feelings. If Uchiha Yu had not lived 2 lives, he would have really believed it. However, Uchiha Yu still believed it. Of course, this did not prevent Uchiha Yu from expressing dissatisfaction with Uchiha Tajima. The next day, Uchiha Yu found Uchiha Tajima again and expressed his determination again. "Uncle, please teach me to become stronger. I don't want Madara to fight alone." Uchiha Yu faced Tajima and told him his ninja way. Uchiha Tajima originally just listened and didn't take it seriously, but when he looked into Uchiha Yu's eyes, he was shocked. Because at this moment, Uchiha Yu's eyes were scarlet, and a Magatama was slowly flowing in them. One Magatama Sharingan. Uchiha Yu showed his Sharingan. Opening his eyes to practice his ninja way, and to not want Madara to fight alone, this made Uchiha Tajima feel shocked and completely believed in Yu. What else could he not believe in a nephew who could open his eyes to protect his son? After all, only the Uchiha who opened his eyes knew what kind of enlightenment and changes the Uchiha needed to make in his heart when he opened his eyes. From that day on, Uchiha Tajima's attitude towards Uchiha Yu changed. Uchiha Tajima was stricter with him than before, but in terms of relationship, Uchiha Tajima was more attentive to Uchiha Yu. The good things of the Uchiha clan, except for the aspects that the clan leader was not open to Yu, in other aspects, Uchiha Tajima devoted all his efforts to train his son. As long as Uchiha Yu was willing to learn, Uchiha Tajima would teach him. As long as Uchiha Yu had a need, as long as it was not particularly difficult, Uchiha Tajima would do it for Uchiha Yu. And Uchiha Yu did not waste this time. In this process, he got many improvement techniques about the flame sword technique and shuriken throwing technique from Uchiha Tajima. At the same time, he also put the future Konoha ninja in the Uchiha secret library. He completed the 3 conventional ninja techniques and learned the substitute technique and clone technique. He also made a qualitative leap in his understanding of fire escape. Although his skills were not significantly improved, he had extraordinary insights into the ninja world, ninja qualities, and the origin and development of ninjutsu. Of course, as long as you are an Uchiha, you can basically learn the above when the time comes. However, the key lies in the last one. That is an ability that not many people in the later Uchiha clan mastered. Hand seal technique. This is a secret inheritance that truly belongs to the Uchiha. It is also something that only the core of the Uchiha core is qualified to learn. Hand seal. This ability is a means created by Indra. Through hand seals, chakra is expressed, thus producing various special ninjutsu. The emergence of these ninjutsu has greatly improved the means of ninjas, and at the same time, it has also plunged the world into further turmoil. However, the emergence of hand seals is also the main reason why ninjas can replace the previous samurai era in a true sense. As the founder of hand seals and the ancestor of the Uchiha clan, Indra would naturally leave a trick for his family. Hand seals are one of them. The performance of ninjutsu is not just about hand seals. Instead, while hand seals are being performed, the chakra in the body is coordinated with the flow of chakra in the meridians, so that the chakra changes in some way and eventually forms some expressions. When each hand seal is performed, the chakra in the body will have a running route. When a normal ninja practices ninjutsu, it is a rigid and methodical operation, one hand seal after another, and each hand seal requires some chakra to be drawn, and finally released after the hand seal operation is completed. This process also creates a situation where the more complex the hand seals are, the more chakra is consumed. In this process, the role of each hand seal is not so necessary. In other words, the final effect provided by each hand seal for that ninjutsu does not necessarily have to consume an equal proportion of chakra. Hand seals are a way to save this consumption. The chakra meridians between the seals are connected to each other. By connecting these connected places and adapting for a long time, one hand seal can achieve the effect of multiple hand seals, and even reach the level of a starting hand seal to directly perform a ninjutsu. In the ninja village era, Uchiha Itachi was very powerful and could perform 5 seals per second. However, no matter how powerful 5 seals per second are, can one seal and one ninjutsu be powerful? Can you be as powerful as, just snap your hand and the ninjutsu will come? The seal technique will do. The seal technique can not only simplify the ninjutsu seal, but may even only require one starting hand seal, or a single-handed starting hand seal. At that time, the so-called seal is more like a valve than a seal, a habitual preset action when you subconsciously want to perform a ninjutsu. However, the seal technique is not without disadvantages. The disadvantage of the seal technique is that it is too limited. The existence of hand seals can only be used for some systematic ninjutsu. For example, Uchiha's fire escape, Great Fireball, Dragon Fire Technique, Phoenix Fire Technique, Great Fire Extinction, Great Fire Extinction. This series of fire escapes are actually upgraded versions after practicing hand seals. According to Uchiha Tajima, start with the Great Fireball technique, and when the seal of the Great Fireball is reduced to one seal through hand seals, then learn the next one. In the end, even A-level fire escape only needs a few seals to use, and even if you study it enough, 1 or 2 seals are not impossible. However, an A-level ninjutsu can be condensed to less than 5 seals, which is absolutely enough. And this is also the reason why Uchiha is famous in the ninja world for fire escape in addition to Sharingan. After learning this hand seal technique, Uchiha Yu began to practice hard. Although the gains were not great, he understood that this is definitely a secret technique with extremely high strategic significance. If we can further study and even break through on this basis, we may be able to create another precedent for ninjas. While Uchiha Yu was constantly practicing and enriching himself, some news came from Baiwu town. It was said that the Uchiha clan and the Hyuga clan had friction, but later because of the re-attack of overseas ninjas, they chose to temporarily cease fire. Uchiha Yu learned some of the situation, and his intuition told him that something was wrong. But now that he has left Baiwu town, he doesn't think anything will happen to Madara, so he doesn't pay more attention to it. He has done what he should do. The rest can only depend on what Madara and Uchiha do. It is meaningless to force anything. Time flies, and the refresh time of the compensation point comes again. Name: Uchiha Yu. Age: 6. Talent: diligence can make up for one's shortcomings. Skills: chakra refining technique LVMAX, throwing technique LV7, instant body technique LVMAX, great fireball technique LV6, flame sword technique LV5, transformation technique LV5, substitution technique LV2, clone technique LV2, one Magatama Sharingan LV4, seal technique LV2, eye concentration technique LV4, living body technique LVMAX to be perfected thunder, fire, water, earth, wind. Compensation points. 1. Backpack. Several items. After more than 2 months of hard training, Uchiha has made considerable progress in all aspects. Especially in the throwing technique, he has hit a bottleneck. If he continues, it will be difficult to quickly improve his level except for improving the Sharingan and constantly grinding through diligence. This is not because Uchiha Yu's potential has been reached, but that the things that can be learned in Uchiha's throwing technique have been exhausted. This is like a student who works hard towards a goal, and advances all the way to the pinnacle of academics, and there is nothing more to learn in this regard. However, Uchiha Yu did not force it. He has compensation points, and if he particularly needs the throwing technique, he only needs to wait for a year. Now that the compensation points have come again, he naturally cannot waste them on the throwing technique. This time, he still focuses on life-saving improvement. Ninja itself is a profession with a strong sense of surprise, and the importance of companions lies in making up for their own shortcomings. However, if there is a choice, being strong in all aspects is more reliable than relying on companions. After all, except for some people who have no numbers, no one loves himself more than himself. Uchiha Yu's eyes are on 4 skills. 1 Magatama Sharingan, living body technique, seal technique and flame sword technique. 1 Magatama upgrade cannot increase the number of Magatama, but can only improve the proficiency of use. For the current situation, it is not cost-effective. As for the living body technique, Uchiha Yu has a feeling that it will take at most half a month. The accumulation of power can change the body. Before the next compensation point arrives, he should be able to master the 5 attributes without any accidents. He looks forward to the changes at that time, and the benefits of using the compensation point at that time may be more obvious. As for the seal technique, this ability is indeed good, but because of the limitations of the seal technique and his own chakras, average, he chose to put it aside for the time being. There is no way, he knows what he looks like too well. Chakra, instant body technique, physical fitness, maybe these are all good, but the combat awareness is not very high. Whenever he encounters some people with strong reaction ability, he will show his weakness if he misses a hit. Ninjutsu is a means that consumes a lot of energy and has a low hit rate. It is better to wait until his chakra becomes Chatanla before considering it. In the end, Uchiha Yu chose the flame sword technique. Flame sword technique LVMAX. At the moment when flame sword technique reached the maximum level, the essence of Uchiha flame sword technique emerged in Uchiha Yu's mind little by little, and his body became more condensed and his control became stronger in the perception of flame sword technique. When Uchiha Yu opened his eyes from the perception of flame sword technique, a sharp light flashed, as if it had substance. Uchiha Yu did not speak, and took out a knife from the space backpack. That knife was not the one Madara gave him, but an ordinary standard long knife. I saw Uchiha Yu's hand move casually, and a stream of chakra rushed towards the long knife, very naturally attached to the long knife, and turned into a condensed and undispersed point of sharp light. That sharp light did not have any attribute changes, but was simply a change in the chakra form. A change that condensed the chakra to the extreme on the blade. With a casual wave of his hand, the long knife chopped at the corner of the stone table next to him. There was not much resistance, and it was cut like tofu. The stone table slipped down, and the cross-section was like a mirror. The next moment, Uchiha Yu swung the knife again and cut off another corner of the stone table. There was a little more heat on the blade. This time, the blade was just as sharp, and the cut corner also slid down slowly. But this time, there was magma flowing at the cross-section, as if the stone table was not made of stone, but of candles. Looking at the destruction he had caused, Uchiha Yu held the knife and pondered. He smiled with satisfaction for a long time. Uchiha Flame Sword Art, it's worth it. Flame Sword Art has reached the maximum level, which not only brings Uchiha Yu an improvement in skills, but also has a far-reaching impact in the future. Flame Sword Art can be divided into two abilities in theory. The first one is the control of the fire attribute. The essence of the flame in Flame Sword Art is the change from the form of the fire attribute to the change of its nature. The attack carries a burn, and the intensity of the burn can become stronger with the control of the attribute, thus forming a flame power that exceeds the fire power. The swordsmanship in Flame Sword Art is another ability. That is another use of chakra, and it is also the essence of Uchiha's absorption and fusion of the power of warriors in the samurai era. Swordsmanship can also be called swordsmanship in the ninja era. The knife and sword here are not separated. Uchiha Flame Sword Art has reached the maximum level, and it is also the maximum level of Uchiha Sword Art. This allowed Uchiha Yu to condense a sharp blade with chakra, cutting gold and jade as easily as cutting tofu. This ability is not like the breathing of all things in the world of One Piece, but a kind of sharpness, the sharpness of chakra condensed to the extreme. This ability turned Uchiha Yu's originally fancy swordsmanship into a flat attack killer move. No matter what enemy, after being close to him, you must first withstand his sword. Only those who can block it are qualified to be his opponent. And because of the appearance of the blade, Uchiha Yu's close range is increased. A radius of 3 meters is his attack circle, and the condensed blade can fly about 10 meters, and its sharpness is not inferior to sea-level wind escape. Don't underestimate sea-level wind escape, it is already a ninjutsu that can destroy trees. And the use of the blade does not require seals. Uchiha Yu is equivalent to using sea-level wind escape ninjutsu as a flat attack method. And this is not the limit of Uchiha swordsmanship. Uchiha Flame Swordsmanship is not the only one that can be used. In theory, all attributes can be used. It is just because most of the Uchiha clan have fire attributes, so the research on fire attributes is more thorough. Now that Uchiha Yuyan swordsmanship has reached the maximum level, and there is also the attribute transformation brought by the living body technique, his understanding and mastery of the 5 attributes are also becoming more and more profound. Maybe Uchiha should also have Uchiha Wind Swordsmanship, Uchiha Earth Swordsmanship, Uchiha Thunder Swordsmanship, and Uchiha Water Swordsmanship. Even Uchiha Ice Swordsmanship, Uchiha Storm Swordsmanship, Uchiha Burning Swordsmanship and other combined swordsmanship. Uchiha carefully comprehended the abilities and future prospects brought by flame swordsmanship, and the light in his eyes became brighter and brighter. In the days that followed, Uchiha further incorporated Uchiha Flame swordsmanship into his own combat system. At the same time, at this stage, he also evaluated his own strength and planned for future strength development. The arrival of the compensation point again made up for Uchiha Yu's lack of attack power. The speed of the flame sword technique combined with the instant body technique, with the blessing of the Sharingan, gave him the means to kill ninjas in an instant, which was comparable to Kakashi, who would use the Raikiri in the future. No, to be precise, it was Kakashi's father, Hatake Somo. As long as the ninja was close to him, there was almost no chance of survival. However, he did not feel complacent about it, because his shortcomings were also obvious. Slow combat reaction, weak combat awareness. This point was only understood after he deliberately reduced the ability of the flame sword technique and the instant body technique and had a duel with his good uncle. The instant body technique, swordsmanship, and the three-way cooperation with the Sharingan, in the words of Uchiha Tajima after the war, this was a completely problem-free killing method. Even if Uchiha Yu concealed some of it in the process, it still amazed Uchiha Tajima and he called him a super ninja. However, Uchiha Yu's combat reaction ability and on-the-spot adaptability are very lacking. This kind of lack is naturally not to say that Uchiha Yu's talent is poor. On the contrary, Uchiha Yu's adaptability and reaction ability are very good, but because he grows too fast in other aspects, the shortcomings in that aspect are highlighted. At the age of 6, Uchiha Yu's reaction and adaptability have reached the level of Chunin. Except for Madara, who is born with a strong combat awareness, no one in the entire Uchiha teenagers under the age of 10 or even 12 can compare with Yu, even the talented Izuna is far behind. So for others, Yu's reaction and adaptability can be used as advantages to show off. However, this should have been an advantage, because Yu's other abilities have become his current weaknesses. If Yu encounters an elite Jonin, facing in the final, with Yu's current ability, he will definitely win. However, the battle of ninjas is never fair and square. Even a Jonin may be besieged and killed by some Chunins, or may be injured by a Genin due to carelessness. Sneak attacks, traps, disguises, and multi-person ambushes are all normal for ninjas. Once someone discovers Yu's shortcomings in reaction and response, sets up an ambush secretly, and launches an unexpected sneak attack, then Yu may be killed before he really shows his strength. Knowing this, Uchiha Yu's heart, which was originally inflated unconsciously due to his strength improvement, calmed down directly. And Uchiha Yu also thought of the future Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama. To put it another way, even if he has no blind spots in all directions, compared with the future Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, it is not a little bit worse. How fast is the instant body technique? Can he escape from the range of the arrival of the flower tree world in an instant? Can the flame sword technique cut off the complete form of Susanoo? The decades before the end of the Warring States period in the future are also the era of leaps and bounds in the top combat power of the Warring States period. Uchiha's Mangekyo, Hashirama Senju's wood release, and many other methods developed by other ninja clans under the threat of these two perverted forces. All of these will push the combat power of ninjas to another level. The last brilliance of the Warring States period was also an era of flourishing ninja schools. Now I only have one Magatama, so I'd better develop honestly. And that sneak attack. After Uchiha Yu sorted out his mentality, he thought of the sneak attack at the beginning. Through the communication with Madara later, the Uchiha who installed the Byakugan seemed to have completely overdrawn his vitality after launching the last attack, and turned into ashes in front of Madara, without even his Byakugan left. All this is nothing to others. However, for Uchiha Yu, a time traveler who has viewed the history of the ninja world, he feels that there is something weird in it. Chapter 31. After many deductions in his mind about the ambush, Uchiha Yu was 80% sure that Otsutsuki Chenxiang had planned it. Today, Uchiha Yu was in a state of being close to his Uchiha cousin because he didn't want to establish a too deep bond with Madara. Because he was worried that Black Zetsu would target him and use him to give Madara another painful enlightenment. After thinking about it several times, Yu became more and more suspicious that the inexplicable ambush was not a conspiracy of other ninja clans. It was the handiwork of Otsutsuki Chenxiang to kill several birds with one stone. It could not only provoke the fight between the major ninja clans, but also test the temperament of this generation of Indra's reincarnation, and even try to open Madara's eyes. As the saying goes, don't be afraid of thieves stealing, just be afraid of thieves thinking about it. Before you grow up completely, it's better to hide a little. After that, another half a month passed. Uchiha Yu, who had always been yellow all over, gradually faded the color on his body one day. The transformation of the earth attribute living body technique is now complete. Uchiha sensed the changes in his body and showed some strangeness on his face. Decomposition. The transformation of the earth attribute living body technique in his body gave him the ability to decompose substances similar to soil. In addition, the decomposition ability can also decompose and dissolve some impurities in the body, and can discharge the dissolved impurities in the body through pores, breathing, or metabolism. With this ability, he basically doesn't have to worry about kidney stones, cerebral thrombosis, heart disease, excessive obesity, poor appetite, etc. Thunder attribute discharge, fire attribute combustion and consumption, water attribute hydration, earth attribute decomposition. Uchiha Yu is even more looking forward to the final change of the wind attribute. However, it seems that after the previous attributes have completed the transformation, the body has reached a certain critical point. Although Uchiha Yu feels that this last change can also make the attribute fill the whole body, the speed of transformation is much slower. However, Uchiha Yu also has a feeling. This transformation is not just the wind attribute. When the wind attribute was transformed, the wind attribute of the four transformed attribute abilities before, while eroding the body, also connected these four abilities to each other, forming a cycle in his body. As for what the role of that cycle is, Uchiha Yu needs to slowly explore and verify. Time passed slowly, and Uchiha Yu continued to indulge in cultivation. Finally, on this day, he received another rescue mission. Originally, according to Uchiha Tajima's appreciation and cultivation of him, he should be hidden in the snow and cultivated painstakingly in a short period of time, waiting for his strength to grow by leaps and bounds before shocking others. However, the applicant for this mission was Madara. That's right, it was Madara who had been training in Baiwu Town. In the rescue mission, Uchiha Madara did not explain anything, but just hoped that Uchiha Tajima could send his little cousin to help him. At this point, Uchiha Tajima, who was still thinking about continuing to cultivate Yu for a while, naturally hesitated. After all, the value that Yu has shown during this period of time has made him not only want to leave a trump card for his son, but also want to cultivate a killer for Uchiha. However, between emotion and reason, Uchiha Tajima finally chose rational emotion. He told Uchiha Yu about this matter very fairly and impartially, expressing his full respect for Yu's choice. Yu rolled his eyes in his heart. Choice, can he choose? He had been working hard with the goal of becoming someone that Madara can rely on, and if he refused, it would mean that everything he said before was false. In the end, he would most likely be sent by Uchiha Tajima, and he would have to be on guard against him everywhere in the future. It is even possible that in the future, when Uchiha Tajima feels that he is about to fail, he will send him an extremely dangerous mission to help his good son eliminate him as a stumbling block. Therefore, Uchiha Yu made the choice he was most reluctant to make without hesitation. "Uncle, this is the day I've been waiting for. Please let me go," Uchiha Yu said sincerely, and in Uchiha Tajima's gratified expression, he once again set out on the road of support. Perhaps he was very satisfied with Uchiha Yu's reaction, or he wanted to test Yu again, so this time Uchiha Tajima gave Uchiha Yu an authority. Select a few people from the younger generation of the family to form his own Uchiha team. If this authority is used well, it is completely possible to cultivate his own team. However, once Uchiha Yu had it in his hand, he was not very interested in these trivial external forces. Moreover, developing his own team under the nose of his good uncle, if it is developed well, he will be feared, and if it is not developed well, it may reduce investment. It's not pleasing. Therefore, Uchiha Yu simply gave up the use of this authority and retreated to advance. Uchiha Yu told his good uncle that he was still a novice on the road of ninja and didn't understand these things at all. So, he hoped that his good uncle could choose for him. In response, Yu's good uncle said a few words of earnestness, such as, "Don't rely on others for everything, and uncle can't always protect you from the wind and rain, but he still arranged for you." That afternoon, Uchiha Yu's team reported to him. The whole team, including Yu, has a total of 7 people, 2 of whom are acquaintances of Uchiha Yu. Uchiha Ming, Uchiha Izuna. When Uchiha Ming saw Yu, although there was a flash of eagerness in his eyes, like a crazy fan, his behavior was the same as others, and he greeted with others. "Captain Yu, please take care of me in the future." Among them, Uchiha Izuna's face was not good. After more than a year of hard training and writing more than 30 letters to his father, he finally came to the front line. Not only did he not see Oni-chan at the first time, but he was also assigned to his rival team. Moreover, the opponent was the captain. In this way, Izuna felt that he was outdone again. HMPH. A nasal sound summarized all his dissatisfaction. The remaining 4 Uchiha were 2 men and 2 women, named Uchiha Maru, Uchiha Toki, Uchiha Ru, and Uchiha Yi. All 4 were Chunin Shuipan, aged between 15 and 18, and were in their prime and full of vigor. And looking at their attitude towards Uchiha Ming, they were obviously a little distant and arrogant. According to the information Uchiha Tajima gave him, Uchiha Yu knew the reason for their arrogance. Their fathers were all important subordinates of Uchiha Tajima, and each of them was a person who opened 3 Magatama in the clan. In the Uchiha clan, although everyone can open the Sharingan in theory, the difficulty is not the same. In general, if the previous generation can open the Sharingan, the probability of the younger generation opening the Sharingan will increase. Therefore, within the Uchiha clan, those who want to make their younger generations better usually look for some partners who can open their eyes. And each of these 4 people has awakened a single Magatama, which can be regarded as a genius in the clan. And Uchiha Ming belongs to the category of awakening in the ordinary blood circle of Uchiha. To put it simply, although they are all single Magatama now, Uchiha Ming is basically a single Magatama, and a single Magatama is just their starting point. Uchiha Yu looked at them silently, and they were also considering Uchiha Yu. Uchiha Tajima didn't say much when he sent them here. However, this behavior expressed many things. Letting a 6-year-old boy form his own Uchiha team is not only a recognition of the boy's strength, but also a recognition and trust in the boy. At such an age, such an important task. For such a person, they only thought of one thing. Team. The clan leader is using Uchiha Yu's hand to cultivate the team of the future young clan leader. And Uchiha Yu will definitely be an important right-hand man of the future clan leader in the future. This is not uncommon in the history of the Uchiha clan, and it has even become an unspoken rule in hundreds of years of inheritance. But why? Each of them is a genius, and they have opened the blood-colored eyes. In the future, 9 out of 10 will have 3 Magatama Sharingan, and they are definitely elite ninjas. With such a background, why should they succumb to the name of a 6-year-old child? Why can't they become the right-hand man of the young clan leader? This thought arises in the minds of the future pillars of the Uchiha clan, making them always seem indifferent to Uchiha Yu. Uchiha Yu naturally saw this and knew that if this continued, the team would be difficult to lead. He looked at the sky and slowly headed towards the open space where he usually trained. Then, Yu slowly pulled out an ordinary Uchiha standard short sword, looked at the 4 of them and said, "Since I am the captain, I must understand your strength. Come on, let me see your methods." Quote. Captain Yu, are you sure? Uchiha, when did you become so twisted? I'll give you 3 minutes to think about it. I don't have time to waste it with you here. Then, Captain Yu, we are offended. Uchiha Maru has a more direct personality. Seeing that Uchiha Yu really wants to challenge them, he showed his fighting spirit on his face and jumped towards Uchiha Yu. The other 3 wanted to wait and see what would happen, but the next moment, Uchiha Maru, who was attacking Uchiha Yu, flew backwards. While Uchiha Maru was struggling to get up, a short knife had already been pressed against his back. When? So fast. Instant body technique. Even my father and the others couldn't do that kind of speed. The lightning-fast confrontation made the boys and girls, who were originally careless, no longer calm, and their attitude towards Uchiha Yu also changed quietly. At this moment, they realized something vaguely. Even if the man who was arranged by the clan leader to be their captain was only 6 years old, it was impossible for him to be so simple just by nepotism. Let's go together. The remaining Uchiha looked at each other and attacked Uchiha Yu without hesitation. One person used the shuriken throwing technique to try to delay Uchiha Yu's speed, while the other decisively used the great fireball technique to attack and block his sight. When Uchiha Yu approached, the last Uchiha performed thunder escape and walked on the ground, performing thunder escape in all directions, trying to rely on the paralysis of thunder escape to slow down Uchiha Yu's body, so as to give them the opportunity to launch a second round of attack. The idea was good, the cooperation was tacit, and the combat awareness was good, but they were facing the wrong person. The body after the transformation of the thunder attribute living body technique greatly improved its resistance to thunder escape. Although the body was paralyzed, it did not reach the state of losing the ability to move. He moved in an instant and came to the 3 people. He raised his hand and touched the necks of the 3 people. A bioelectric current came out of Uchiha Yu's hand, which directly made the 3 people's eyes turn white and all fell to the ground. However, Uchiha Yu controlled the output of voltage. They only lost consciousness for a short time, but after a few dozen breaths, they gradually recovered. The 3 people who recovered looked at Uchiha Yu with eyes that were completely free of the original neglect, and all showed undisguised admiration, even though Yu was a 6-year-old child. The Uchiha clan, the strong are respected. In simple terms, only if you defeat them, will they listen to you. Let's go. Yes, Captain. At this moment, the Uchiha team is truly formed. Of course, Uchiha Izuna in the team looked at Uchiha Yu with more complicated eyes. I've tried so hard, why do I feel that the gap between him and me is getting bigger and bigger? No, how can I get my brother back from him? The only one standing behind my brother is me. Uchiha Izuna shouted in his heart, but in the end he still didn't have the courage to challenge Uchiha Yu. No matter how arrogant and confident he is, he has self-knowledge. You now is not someone he can contend with. In this way, everyone set out for Baiwu Town. After half a day, before the setting sun, they arrived at Baiwu Town as scheduled. Under the leadership of Uchiha Ming, the team easily entered Baiwu Town, and soon met Madara, who was patrolling in Baiwu Town. After not seeing each other for a few months, Madara didn't grow much, but his physique was much stronger. Especially the sharpness, it is obvious that he has fought a lot in the past few months. The first sentence Uchiha Madara said when he saw Uchiha Yu was a slightly dissatisfied reproach. I thought you could arrive last night, but I didn't expect you to be delayed for so long. Of course, this reproach was just the tone, and there was no emotional dissatisfaction. However, Uchiha Yu was not willing to take the blame, and shirked responsibility very smoothly. Originally, I could have arrived at noon yesterday, but Izunai was clamoring to come, so my uncle had no choice but to dispatch a team to escort him here. In one sentence, he cleared himself of the reason, and at the same time, Izunai, who was about to speak excitedly when he saw his brother, was stunned. Brother, it's not like that, I didn't. Izunai originally wanted to come to Baiwu Town to complain to his brother and tell him how Uchiha Yu bullied him, but before he could talk to his brother, Uchiha Yu complained first. This made his already aggrieved heart unable to hold back, and he burst into tears. The ninjas who followed Uchiha Yu saw this scene and covered their faces. As bystanders, they naturally saw the subtle relationship between Izunai and Captain Yu along the way. However, they all felt unconsciously their captain was too bullying. But soon, they suddenly remembered that their captain seemed to be the same age as Kwanai. However, looking at the indifferent Yu and the tearful Kwanai, they could never compare Yu and Kwanai as peers. Kwanai is a genius. Before Yu arrived, they had tested Kwanai's strength against each other. Although he was a little worse than them, at this age and with this strength, they could only say that he was worthy of being the son of the clan leader. As for Captain Yu, no one used the word genius to describe him anymore. Instead, he was a strong man. On the other side, Madara saw Izuna crying and complaining to him, and his face was filled with guilt. He saw the team led by Uchiha Yu coming, and saw Izuna at first sight. He naturally attached great importance to his younger brother, and even Yu could not replace Izuna's position in his heart. In the previous sentence, Madara actually wanted to give Yu some eye drops to make Izuna feel better. But unexpectedly, Yu directly turned the tables on him. In the end, Madara saw that things were a bit out of control, but he quickly spoke to comfort him. Okay, Izuna, don't cry, this is the front line, be a man. Uchiha Izuna seemed to have noticed his brother's emotional fluctuations, as if he realized something. Looking at Yu, who was watching the show with a smile next to him, he knew that he was deceived again. Yu, I want to challenge you in a one-on-one duel. Are you sure? Yu, I'm a little uncomfortable today, I'll challenge you after I've rested. A real man can bend and stretch. Anyway, it's not the first time he's embarrassed. Uchiha Izuna's self-esteem has become more flexible under the positive and negative influence of Uchiha Yu. After a farce, Madara handed over the patrol task to his colleagues, but arranged accommodation for Yu's team. When the support task was proposed again, these accommodations were ready. It is worth mentioning that Yu still had the original room, and Ming directly squeezed with his former colleagues to keep in touch. And Uchiha Izuna directly asked to live with Madara. In this regard, Madara, who is obsessed with his younger brother, naturally did not refuse. And Yu and Madara live in the same yard. So, early the next morning, when Yu got up and moved around in the yard, he saw Madara instructing Izuna to practice, and later he gave him a provocative look from time to time, looking tea-like. Uchiha Yu didn't care. He sat at the table where he used to sit before, drinking tea and eating cakes, waiting for the other members of Yu's team to arrive. But when Madara saw Yu's lazy look, he was not happy. You are also Izuna's brother, why don't you come and guide Izuna? Brother, I don't want him to teach me. Izuna, don't be upset, Yu's strength is not weaker than mine. But Izuna originally wanted to say something, but when he saw his brother's eyes, he compromised. I want to see what he can teach me. Instantaneous body skills, sword skills, etc., are just so-so. Uchiha Izuna said so, but the look in his eyes when he looked at Uchiha Yu also showed some movement and desire. Having seen the methods of Uchiha Yu's instantaneous killing of team members before, Uchiha Izuna was really a little greedy for Uchiha Yu's instantaneous body skills and sword skills. Although he wanted to surpass Uchiha Yu, it seemed that it was not impossible to learn a more powerful trick from Yu and then surpass the opponent in the opponent's trick. Yu was a little amused when facing Izuna, who was not sincere. Izuna was actually a tsundere. It just so happened that he liked to challenge the limits of tsunderes. Ah, yes, I am indeed mediocre in instant body skills and swordsmanship, so I won't show off. If you don't want to teach me, then don't teach me. I don't want to learn, Izuna snorted coldly and rejected Uchiha Yu Tsunderly. Uchiha Madara next to him could only shake his head when he saw this. Although Uchiha Yu didn't want to teach, he didn't say it firmly. If Izuna's words could be softer and have a little learning intention, he didn't believe that Uchiha Yu would not teach something. However, with Izuna's attitude, even if Madara knew that Izuna was just embarrassed, he couldn't continue on this topic now. There was no other way. Madara could only continue to instruct Uchiha Izuna for a while until the arrival of Yu's team. Along with them came two teammates who had patrolled with Uchiha Madara before. They came with a map and spread it on the table where Yu had just had tea. Everyone gathered together and began to talk about the situation of this rescue mission. Since the last rescue mission, although the ninjas in Baiwu town suffered heavy losses, those overseas ninjas were also severely damaged. After Uchiha Yu left, the overseas ninjas did not take large-scale invasions except for occasional small-scale harassment. However, during this period, the ninjas of the Shiroku town often never returned when they went out, and the ninjas sent to explore did not come back. In the end, the ninjas stationed in Uchiha realized this situation, but organized a strong force to explore, and finally found the overseas ninjas lurking outside Baiwu town, and had a conflict with them. However, the enemy did not want to fight. When they saw the Uchiha troops, they decisively abandoned some of their ninjas and quickly retreated, not giving the Uchiha any chance to react. Yes. Based on the brief fight, the subsequent exploration, and the intelligence torture of those overseas ninjas, Uchiha finally discovered something. Overseas ninjas seem to be brewing some conspiracy again, and this time it seems to be more violent than the last time. However, the opponent's actions are very meticulous, and they only obey the planners who do everything. Even those ninjas don't know what they are going to do specifically, so it is not clear what the overseas ninjas want to do. In order to prevent the last incident from happening, and to better block overseas ninjas, reinforcements were requested. However, because the main force of Uchiha's ninjas are now dealing with the joint army of Senju and Uzumaki, they cannot dispatch too much combat power, so they can only send a Chunin team. However, except for Izuna, who was temporarily stuffed in, the real combat power of all the others in this Chunin team is close to that of a special Jonin. Especially Uchiha Yu, even though he lacks reaction and adaptability, in the eyes of Uchiha Tajima, he is at least Jonin. With Uchiha Jing, there are two senior ninjas with Sharingan in Baiwu town. If there are still problems, then it is no longer a simple problem. Before Uchiha Yu left, Uchiha Tajima gave Yu a bottom line. If they are really invincible, evacuating with Madara and their team will not be considered a mission failure. Uchiha Yu naturally understood what Uchiha Tajima meant, and also understood that this reinforcement mission is more like protection than reinforcement. Anyone can get into trouble in Baiwu town, including Izuna. However, only Madara can't. Therefore, although Uchiha Yu understood the situation in Baiwu town described by Madara, he was not prepared to accept the arrangement. Even, as expected, Uchiha Jing should have received a hint from Uchiha Tajima that he would not arrange anything for him. This is also one of the reasons why only Madara and his two companions in Baiwu town explained to them, but no one else came. Ban, you decide what to do. After Ban finished explaining everything, Uchiha Yu did not express any opinions, but directly threw the question to Ban. Ban heard Yu's words, looked at Uchiha's expression and was stunned for a moment, then frowned unconsciously, lowered his head and pondered for a moment, then slowly said, "In my opinion, instead of defending here and waiting for a sneak attack, it is better to take the initiative and catch the opponent off guard. Then I'll listen to you." Well, don't you have any other opinions? No, but my plan itself is very risky. Any mission has risks. My team and I have prepared for the worst before coming. Brother, although you and I don't get along, I agree with him this time. You arrange it. What should we do? Uchiha Izuna looked at Uchiha Madara with eager eyes and full of fighting spirit. And Uchiha Madara looked at Uchiha Izuna's little eyes, but his face was more helpless and helpless. Izuna, you can't participate this time. Brother, why? I want to fight side by side with you. If you say no, then no. Your strength is still weak. If you go, you will only be a drag. Brother, I won't drag you down. Even if I die, I will not disgrace the reputation of Uchiha. Uchiha Izuna looked at Madara firmly. That look made Madara worried, but he couldn't bear to refuse. Madara could see that Izuna was so eager to show off because she wanted to help him. If he continued to refuse, he might really hurt his brother's heart. Hesitantly, Madara looked at you next to him. But you didn't care about the two brothers' lovey-dovey drama. He looked up at the sky and pretended not to see it. Seeing this, Madara's face darkened, but he didn't say anything else. It was considered that he tacitly agreed to Izuna's joining this mission, which made the latter's eyes shine again. After that, it was the deployment of the plan. Of course, rather than deployment, it was just a matter of discussing where the overseas ninja bases were, when to start, and how to start. During the whole discussion, Uchiha Yu did not speak. Izuna fully supported his brother, and the others were confident in their own strength, so it was more of an arrangement made by Madara than a discussion. In the end, Madara set the time for the counterattack to set off in the afternoon 2 days later, waiting in ambush, and attack at dawn on the third day. After the arrangement was completed, everyone dispersed on the spot. And Uchiha Madara did not stay in the residence for long, and left with Izuna. For Izuna's safety, Madara decided to give Izuna a small special training in the remaining 2 days. And the other members of the Uchiha team, at Yu's suggestion, followed Madara to run in with each other to facilitate the subsequent battle. After everyone left, Uchiha Ming found a reason to come back. Master Yu, have you really decided to act according to the arrangement of the young clan leader? Ming, it seems that you have investigated something different. Master Yu, have you discovered it too? No, I just simply feel that this matter is not simple. Uchiha Yu supported his face with his right hand and tapped the table with his left hand. The fingertips that fell on the table just tapped the area of Baiwu Town. To be precise, it was a ninja station in Baiwu Town. The Hyuga clan. Facing the pressure from the Uchiha and other ninja clans, the Hyuga clan did not develop as Uchiha Yu expected, but chose a completely different path. Actively sacrifice part of the interests of Baiwu Town. When Uchiha Jing proposed to redistribute the interests of Baiwu Town as the mayor, the Hyuga clan took the initiative to surrender, and apologized for not coming to support the overseas ninjas in the first time. Therefore, they applied to assume part of the duties of Baiwu Town and prove themselves with actions. This behavior is to retreat in order to advance. Not only did it block the Uchiha clan from joining forces with other ninja clans to target the Hyuga clan, but it also turned the tables. The Uchiha clan should either give them a position that is sufficiently competent, or they should not slander the Hyuga clan for not contributing to Baiwu Town. And no matter what the Uchiha clan chooses, the Hyuga clan will not suffer any loss. As for the interests that the Hyuga clan has given up, it is meaningless. As long as the Hyuga clan is still in Baiwu Town, as long as other ninja clans cannot really stand on the side of the Uchiha clan, the seemingly lost interests of the Hyuga clan will be taken back. Moreover, the Hyuga clan took the initiative to offer benefits, and their attitude was sincere. As a distributor, the Uchiha clan could not do too much anyway. This series of things made Uchiha Yu feel that the Hyuga clan was difficult. In the Hyuga clan, there are masters. At this point, Uchiha Ming also found something wrong after investigating the changes in Baiwu Town in the past few months. Master Yu, what should we do? What should we do? They must have other purposes, and even the previous sneak attack may be a conspiracy. Are we just passively trapped? Passive? I don't think so. Don't think so much, just do what the young clan leader said. Yes, Master Yu. Uchiha Ming looked at Uchiha Yu with some doubts in his eyes, but he was secretly relieved in his heart. Although the other party was only 6 years old, for some reason, Uchiha Yu brought him a sense of oppression comparable to that of the clan leader. Even if he had to choose between Uchiha Yu and the clan leader to be enemies, he would choose the latter without hesitation. It's not because the clan leader is weak, but his years of experience have taught him that if he offends the clan leader, as long as he doesn't betray the clan leader may let him live by chance because of his Sharingan. But if he offends you, he always feels that he doesn't know when he will die inexplicably. Moreover, it seems to have nothing to do with you. Compared with the outstanding but not deliberately displayed strength, Uchiha Ming is more afraid of Uchiha Yu's scheming methods. Seeing Uchiha Ming so obedient, Uchiha Yu was slightly surprised, and then he was relieved. Uchiha Ming, he is indeed a smart man. It seems that it is not impossible to cultivate him. Thinking of this, Yu looked at Uchiha Ming and asked, Ming, what have you learned in the past few months since you returned to the family? Do you mind telling me? Uchiha Yu asked this, and Uchiha Ming was stunned by this sudden turn, but then he seemed to realize something and said with expectation on his face, Master Yu, during this period of time, Uchiha Ming spoke, but he used the most concise language, but still got to the point, to talk about his situation when he left Baiwu Town. After the attack on Baiwu Town, Uchiha Akira awakened the Sharingan in the battle, proving that he had good talent. Uchiha Jing mentioned this in his later performance, so Uchiha Akira was transferred back to the Uchiha headquarters. At first, Uchiha Akira was transferred to the front line of the headquarters. However, Uchiha Akira's combat talent was not very good. Even if he opened the Sharingan, his combat talent still could not keep up with ordinary Uchiha. However, Uchiha Tajima also discovered Uchiha Akira's talents in intelligence and logistics, and was ready to try to cultivate him. It was naturally impossible to cultivate him personally, and Uchiha Tajima did not have the time, so in the second month after Uchiha Akira returned to the front line of the headquarters, he was transferred back to the ancestral land. There, he accepted the guidance of the ninja stationed in the Uchiha ancestral land for a period of time, but he learned all the skills he needed to learn after the awakening of the Sharingan, and then got a chance to practice secret techniques. In the end, Uchiha Akira chose the flame sword technique. However, after getting the secret technique, Uchiha Akira didn't get much guidance, and could only rely on his own exploration. After several months of exploration, he has only just gotten started. Originally, Uchiha Akira thought he might stay in his ancestral land, and even got some initial favorability from Uchiha Tianlu. However, things never change. Because he came from the battlefield, his combat power, even with the Sharingan, was only at the level of an elite Chunin, but he became the whetstone for Uchiha Izuna. In the end, Uchiha Izuna showed the results of his hard work, and finally, at the request of Uchiha Tianlu, he got the approval of Uchiha Tajima and went to the frontline town. As a sparring partner, Uchiha Akira had no choice but to become one of the accompanying ninjas. After listening to Uchiha Akira's narration, Uchiha Yu also sighed for Uchiha Akira's twists and turns. Looking at Uchiha Ming, Uchiha Yu looked at the sky again, then drew out a long sword from his waist and said, "In half an hour, let me see how you practice the flame sword technique." "Yes, Master Yu." Uchiha Ming did not ask any more questions, and also drew out his sword, and the next moment he decisively attacked Uchiha Yu. Ding! At the moment when the two crossed, the metal rang. Uchiha Yu steadily blocked Uchiha Ming's sword, and the chakra on the latter's blade dissipated the moment it collided with Uchiha's blade. Seeing this, Uchiha Ming looked puzzled, but Uchiha Yu did not explain anything, but just corrected him. "When you draw your sword, don't let the chakra attach to the blade, and don't deliberately think about the changes in the attributes. Integrate your emotions into the sword you swing, and just let yourself go." Uchiha Ming did not say much. After taking advantage of the force to retreat a few steps, he decisively adjusted himself according to what Uchiha Yu said. The next moment, he stepped forward and rushed towards Uchiha Yu again. This time, Uchiha Ming was less cautious and had more flaws, but his speed and strength were nearly doubled. The Sharingan that had been waiting to be fired was quietly opened. Ding! Another collision. This time, Uchiha caught the opponent's move again, and his body did not move at all. Feeling the power coming from the long sword in his hand, Uchiha Yu continued. "The strength and speed are enough, the emotions are too chaotic, it should be pure killing intention, protection, or just wanting to survive from the opponent, all are fine, the purpose should be single, and the will should be firm. Uchiha Ming heard this and began to adjust himself again. After several consecutive times, he continued to attack Uchiha Yu, each time slowly changing, and every time he attacked, Uchiha Ming's attack feeling was changing. Time was fast, and when half an hour was about to come, Uchiha Ming's physical strength and chakra were almost exhausted due to continuous attacks. However, Uchiha Ming's fighting spirit did not decrease sharply due to the consumption of physical strength and chakra, but became more and more high. Until a certain moment, Uchiha Ming's long sword attacked Uchiha Yu again, and a sharp light suddenly flashed on the long sword. Uchiha Yu sensed this keenly, but he did not take the blow head on as usual, but dodged to the side in an instant, swinging his long sword, with a sharp edge similar to that of Uchiha Ming on the blade, slashing towards Uchiha Ming. Uchiha Ming accidentally swung that blow, and saw Uchiha Ming repeat it in front of him again, instinctively awakening that feeling, swinging the long sword again, with a sharp edge, and colliding with Uchiha Ming's long sword. This sword, after a moment of collision, heard a delayed sound. And around, there were also gusts of strong wind cutting. When everything calmed down, Uchiha Yu slowly put away his sword, looked at Uchiha Ming who was thoughtful in front of him, and said lightly, "Recall this feeling well, maybe you will gain something." Time flies, 2 days passed quickly. On this day, the Uchiha team gathered again in Madara's villa, and Uchiha Jing came with them. He came as the captain of the detachment to make the final instructions, and he was also dressed in combat uniform, ready for his battle. "Madara, waiting for your triumph." "I will." After a few months of getting along, Madara still didn't know much about Captain Jing, but from the ordinary trivial matters, Madara knew that Jing was indeed worthy of the position of detachment captain. So Madara always maintained a certain respect for Captain Jing. In this way, Madara set off with the team, and Yu followed Madara's steps quietly, but left the position of Madara's right and left hands to Izuna, who felt that he had done it after 2 days of hard work. That afternoon, everyone quietly came to the place where the overseas ninjas were secretly stationed. There, not far from the Land of Waves, in a valley on the border between the Land of Fire and the Land of Waves, it was shrouded in fog for at least 20 hours a day. Only at noon, when the sun was shining brightly, the thick fog would be dispelled for a few hours, revealing the inside. However, at some point 2 years ago, it began to look cloudy and rainy here. The fog in it has never melted since then. As time went by, this place naturally became a place of concern for some patrolling ninjas. After receiving this news, Uchiha once led the ninja clan to explore the situation here. Among them, the Hyuga clan saw the scene through the Byakugan. They found that this was actually an outpost established by overseas ninjas, and it was still quietly expanding, with the intention of stationing troops here. However, because this outpost was still under construction, it was not enough to be a real frontline battle station, so the number of ninjas stationed was not large. There are actually quite a few outposts like this on the border of the Land of Fire, but most of them are just covered by bandits. Last time, Madara and Jing went to take down a mountain stronghold disguised as a ninja, but later they found that there were only a few ninjas with some combat power, so they realized that they had been tricked. Moreover, the other party also buried detonating tags in the mountain stronghold. Although the team suffered little loss in the end, the Uchiha team was also embarrassed. After returning, after hearing the news that Baiwu town was attacked, the battle situation on their side seemed no longer so important. And this time, Madara made all preparations to avenge the previous shame. Everyone lurked quietly in a far distance, and Uchiha Yu did not do anything extra, and followed Uchiha Madara's arrangement completely. Time passed quietly, and a night passed quickly, until the sky was close to dawn. Madara gave the order to attack. The next moment, the Uchiha ninja disappeared instantly, sneaking in the planned range. When fighting ninjas, especially when attacking a force secretly, the first thing to do is to kill as many people as possible silently, so that when they are discovered later, there will be as little interference as possible. In addition to the previous Baiwu town, Uchiha Yu has been following some teams to carry out bloody missions from time to time in the Uchiha frontline headquarters in the past few months, and he has become very calm about harvesting lives. Moreover, according to the method taught by Uchiha seniors, when killing people, it is best to imagine those people as a kind of livestock or props with liquid, so that there will not be too much psychological shadow. Of course, the most important thing is that when killing people in this way, too much murderous intent will not be revealed and detected. This is the essence of silent killing techniques that Uchiha seniors accidentally obtained when interrogating overseas ninjas. Uchiha Yu can't do the same as his predecessors, but he has his own set of methods. Dungeon monsters, all dungeon monsters. Completing this mission is just a mission issued by NPC, and I am here to play the dungeon. The morning at dawn was a little damp. The morning dew and soil mixed together, and you could still smell the fishy smell of soil. In the short moment when night and day alternated, the whole world fell into a brief darkness. Some ninjas who opened their eyes and greeted the rising sun in the darkness did not see the light of the new day, but only felt a chill on their necks. In doubt and fear that did not rise in time, they fell into darkness forever. Some ninjas who had finished patrolling and had an appointment to have a meal saw a black shadow flash by, and drops of water like rain and dew passed in front of them. The rain like water turned into the sharpest knife, passing through their eyebrows, so that they did not even have the opportunity to experience the revolving lantern, and went directly into the underworld. The dawn and night were very short, less than 10 minutes. The light of the early morning cut through the night, the sky in the distance was pale, the water vapor around, mixed with the smell of soil, it was too much like the smell of blood, making some people who were tired and just woke up from a dream lose their sharp judgment. By the time they found something wrong, their personnel had been quietly reduced by more than half. Deep in the base, a ninja was used to getting up early, and he keenly noticed that it was too quiet today, and the whole person was instantly thankful for the ancient times. And the next moment, a figure appeared behind him, and the knife light slashed without hesitation. Tear. The sound of the knife light slashing through the cloth also slashed through the flesh, but the blood only oozed a little from the ninja's neck, slashing the surface skin, and it was not as fatal as before. Ha! Dodged. After the attack, Uchiha Yu instantly pulled away, looking at the ninja in the distance with a serious face, with a little doubt in his eyes. Although he didn't use his full strength in the previous knife attack, even if a Jonin encountered this move, he would be seriously injured if he couldn't counterattack in time. However, the opponent not only withstood his attack, but was only scratched. Master. Moreover, he was a defensive master, and when he turned around, Yu Luo felt a threat. If he hadn't dodged quickly, he would probably have been attacked by the opponent. When the opponent saw Uchiha Yu's figure, he couldn't help but be stunned. In order to launch a sneak attack, Uchiha Yu specially changed into a camouflage black clothes that are good at touching the night. The clothes are even made of materials that isolate chakra. From head to toe, he is fully armed. And now he is only 6 years old, short in stature, secretly training his physique, but his physique is relatively sturdy. This image gives people the feeling of a thin adult dwarf. The Mole Clan. When the other party saw the disguised Uchiha Yu, his eyes were cautious and asked with doubt. The Mole Clan, it is a very special ninja clan in the Warring States period. The clan members are good at burrowing underground and like to live underground. They are very hard to catch and often hide underground, attacking some passing merchants and even besieging some ninjas. And this clan has a characteristic, that is, they are thin and small, like a big rat standing up. Uchiha Yu did not answer the other party's doubts. Seeing that the other party faced his surprise attack, blocked it steadily and quickly sorted out his emotions, Uchiha Yu knew that this guy was a tricky opponent. Watch it. Uchiha Yu lowered his voice and spoke, and the instant body technique under his feet was activated. The blade condensed and sharpened, and attacked the opponent again. The ninja saw this and his face was also cautious. The consciousness of many years of fighting allowed the ninja to predict and dodge in advance when Uchiha Yu attacked, and narrowly avoided Uchiha Yu's rapid instant kill again. The moment the ninja dodged Yu Luo, he turned around and attacked Uchiha Yu, wanting to turn around and grab Uchiha Yu. However, the ninja missed. Uchiha Yu did not turn around and attack the ninja again as expected, but after missing the opponent's attack, he decisively accelerated and quickly flashed away, leaving the battle circle and fleeing towards the woods not far away. After missing the attack and escaping for several miles, Uchiha Yu did not think of a second move at all. It can even be said that this second instant kill attack was simply a feint. That is, when the opponent instinctively defended and dodged, he opened a way out to help himself escape smoothly. When the ninja came to his senses, Uchiha Yu had disappeared. In fact, because Uchiha Yu's speed was too fast and the movement of the instant body technique was too light, the ninja did not see the specific location of Yu Luo's entry into the jungle. This guy escaped. Was my performance just now too strong? The ninja looked at the disappearing Uchiha Yu, opened his mouth, and finally reluctantly suppressed the series of counterattack strategies that he had just planned in his mind. After secretly sighing at the cunning of the opponent, he turned around and flashed in another direction. There, the battle had already started. However, 5 minutes after the ninja left, he returned again. It seems that he really left. The ninja looked around cautiously, and after using the perception technique to explore the surroundings inside and out, he finally sighed and left again, and the expression on his face was not as relaxed as before. I am not afraid of a strong opponent, but I am afraid that the opponent is strong and cowardly. And Uchiha Yu is not only strong and cowardly, but also has a very decisive mentality. After all, there are thieves all day long, but there are no thieves all day long. Uchiha Yu missed the first attack and had the idea of evacuating decisively. Such a person, lurking in the dark silently, even if he does nothing, will make people feel like a thorn in the back. What's more, Uchiha Yu also has a set of abilities to kill people in seconds, as if a gate knife was hanging over the head of this ninja that could fall at any time. If this ninja had not been fighting for many years, he would have developed a cautious character and habitually defended himself, and he might have been beheaded by now. In the end, the ninja left with some reluctance. Before leaving, he still used the detection technique to search several times without giving up. Finally, he confirmed that he had not found anything, and then he left unwillingly. What the ninja didn't know was that 1,500 meters away from him, Uchiha Yu stood on a branch in a jungle, with his Sharingan on, watching the ninja's actions from afar. This distance is just beyond the reach of the detection technique, and it is also within the range that the Sharingan can cover. Although the Sharingan does not have the long-range piercing vision of the Byakugan, its insight is not bad. Uchiha Yu looked at the ninja who left, especially when he saw that the ninja came back, and sighed that there was indeed a fundamental gap between anime and reality. Fortunately, Naruto's reckless behavior of relying on Chadinla was protected by his teammates. Otherwise, if he encountered a slightly stronger ninja in the early stage, he would not even have the chance to run away with the nine-tailed fox, and would have been beheaded by someone. Although the amount of chakra is very important to a ninja and is the key to becoming a strong man. However, the growth of a strong man is not just the increase of chakra. Even the future humanoid nuclear bomb like Senju Hashirama has extraordinary combat power and top combat qualities in all aspects. Yu Luo watched the ninja leave, especially when he saw the ninja's instant departure. Uchiha Yu's expression hidden under the black mask changed from cautious to solemn. Advanced instant body technique. The opponent's instant body technique may be inferior to Uchiha Yu's full-level instant body technique in terms of speed, but when the opponent performed the instant body technique, it was almost silent and did not even stir up the dust on the ground. This means that the opponent is extremely powerful in controlling chakra. Even Uchiha Tajima, who had fed him a few days, was not as precise as the opponent in terms of control. What a wonderful chakra control ability. Also, the feeling of that knife just now. It seems, Uchiha Yu lowered his head and looked at the short knife in his hand that was bounced after attacking the ninja just now, and his face was even more thoughtful. On the blade, there was a layer of fine scratches. The scratches were very strange, as if the blade was rubbed by a steel ball for a long time, and the standard short knife in his hand was worn away. The ninja did not rely on his solid body to block his knife that cut gold and jade, but used the fine manipulation of chakra to attach a layer of high-speed rotating chakra on the surface of his body in an instant. The chakra was extremely condensed. Although it was only attached to the surface of the body, the strands of chakra seemed to be circling like a substance, like a huge steel ball rotating at high speed, eliminating all physical attacks from the surroundings. Even because it was a condensed rotation of energy, it might have a strong blocking ability for most ninjutsu. This ability, if it also has some melee killing moves, is simply a nightmare for melee ninjas. Uchiha Yu looked at the ninjas who went to support him, and had no intention of returning to pursue them. At this moment, Uchiha Yu was not sure whether the other party really left, or was playing hard to get and ambushing him secretly. Thinking of this, Uchiha Yu moved instantly, took a long detour, re-entered the sentry post from the route that Madara had sneaked in before, and lurked again in another direction. Because his instant body speed was very fast, it didn't take long. Along the way, he even encountered a few fleeing ninjas. Those ninjas had no discipline at all, and were ready to leave in a panic, which made Uchiha Yu initially think that the other party was deliberately showing weakness to lure the ambushers to appear, and someone ambushed and killed them from behind. But later, after tracking for a while, Uchiha Yu found that he was overthinking. Those people didn't look like an organized and regular team at all, but more like a temporary team. Although he didn't quite understand what was going on, after confirming that it was not a trap, Uchiha Yu still activated the full-level instant body technique, passed by those ninjas, and decisively ended them. In the Warring States period, there was no good or evil in the fight between the two sides. Hostility is life and death. If you don't kill me, I will kill you. The blade returned to the sheath. Uchiha Yu didn't look at the corpses that fell to the ground unwillingly, nor did he have the idea of restraining himself. He lurked again and slowly approached the inside of the outpost. In a short while, Uchiha Yu heard the sound of fighting. Uchiha Yu didn't approach immediately, but opened the Sharingan again and began to observe the battlefield from a distance. In the Uchiha team, the 4 Uchiha Maru, 2 men and 2 women, cooperated with each other very tacitly, and could cause the greatest damage to the opponent with the least effort, and drag the 2 powerful overseas ninjas alive. Uchiha Ming and Uchiha Izuna formed a temporary team to clear the siege of those weak ninjas. Among them, although Uchiha Izuna had good skills and it was not the first time to see blood, it was the first time to face such a solemn atmosphere. When he took action, he was somewhat nervous and flustered. Especially when facing those ninjas who were dying and counter-attacking, the desire for life and madness in their eyes made Uchiha Izuna, who was always sensitive to emotions, very uncomfortable. Compared with Uchiha Izuna, Uchiha Ming next to him did not have so many troubles. He decisively handed over the ninjas that he could not beat to the stronger Uchiha, without any idea of fighting, and for the ninjas that he could beat, he hit them hard and did not give those ninjas any chance to turn the tide. The behavior of Lao Lu was vividly interpreted by him in the battle. Especially the sword training that Uchiha Yu had given him before, which was directly completed by Uchiha Ming with an instant burst of sneak attacks, like a mad dog on the battlefield that was silent but could bite the opponent at any time. Uchiha Izuna was a little disgusted with Uchiha Ming's methods at first, but when he saw Uchiha Ming successfully harvesting the Warring States on the battlefield again and again, Uchiha Izuna's eyes also showed a brilliance. Then, a little mad dog quietly following the mad dog appeared quietly. Seeing this, Uchiha Yu had a strange look on his face, and thought to himself, Izuna, is he going in a strange direction? It's all Uchiha Ming who led Izuna astray. Uchiha Yu secretly criticized, but hid his figure more secretly, and looked in the direction of Madara. At this moment, it was the most difficult on Madara's side. 2 Uchiha Chunins followed him. The 3 of them were not surrounded by ninjas, but were 1 ninja each, but their faces were very solemn. Because the 3 of them were facing the ninja that Uchiha Yu had just attacked. In a duel between masters, a simple crossover can sense the approximate depth of the opponent. Of course, if you can't feel it, it means that both of them are weak, or that the strength of the 2 people is too different, and they are not at the same level at all. After the appearance of that ninja, the moment Madara crossed with the opponent, the numbness from the life in the opponent's brutal strange power made Uchiha Madara know that this ninja should not be approached. Therefore, Uchiha Madara decisively performed the shuriken throwing technique, attacking the ninja's deadly weaknesses, and while his body retreated instantly, he quickly performed the fire escape attack, trying to distance himself from the opponent. However, the ninja did not dodge at all when facing Uchiha Madara's attack. He directly resisted the throwing technique and fire escape and attacked Uchiha Madara without hesitation. If it were not for Uchiha Madara's strong combat awareness and the interference of the 2 ninjas around him, he might have been seriously injured or even killed. However, the lurking Uchiha Yu did not intend to appear immediately. Because he found that in addition to the extraordinary defensive physical skills, the ninja's instant body technique with precise control was not shown. Otherwise, even if Uchiha Madara could temporarily escape, the 2 ninjas around him would not have been safe all the time. There is a problem. Uchiha Yu looked at the situation on the battlefield from a distance and felt something was wrong. Moreover, there were still many things wrong. Even though this ninja was the leader of this outpost, he did not show the assassination ability of overseas ninjas, nor did he show the means of those powerful ninja clans after the establishment of the Mist Shadow Village. On the contrary, it was the defense ability that had never been seen before, the pure physical tension, and the high-level chakra control that was not yet released. Then there were those ninjas who fled in panic, those who fought to the death with other Uchiha, each with a desire to survive in their eyes, but each ninja was not very motivated. All this was too strange. However, Uchiha Yu had no mind to sort out these things at the moment, because Uchiha Madara had already made new moves. For this kind of defensive ninja, in addition to using the siege and kite-flying style to constantly wear down the opponent's physical strength and chakra, there is another way. That is, illusion. A strong body does not mean a strong spirit. The blood of the Uchiha clan contains the power of Yin Dan. Even if they do not awaken the Sharingan, they have a good hidden mental power. And the mental power of the Uchiha clan after opening their eyes will surge, forming a qualitative improvement, and turning into a special pupil power. This kind of pupil power can directly interfere with the opponent's will, and there is no need to seal to achieve the many effects of illusion. Therefore, when fighting with Uchiha, the first thing is not to look at each other, otherwise your own will may be affected by Uchiha's pupil power, and your combat power may be reduced, or even unable to resist. After all, a person's body is controlled by his consciousness. If the consciousness is interfered with, then no matter how strong the body is, it is meaningless. As the young patriarch, Uchiha Madara was naturally given a lot of special treatment by Uchiha Tajima after opening his eyes, and naturally knew the way to win quickly. Almost as long as he and his companions looked at each other, they had a tacit understanding. Madara quickly retreated and decisively cast an illusion. The ninja who was attacking stiffened unconsciously. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara's teammates did not waste this opportunity at all, and decisively approached and prepared to kill the opponent on the spot. However, Uchiha Madara felt the opponent's strangeness and wanted to speak to stop him, but it was a little late. Be careful. Before Uchiha opened his mouth, he saw that the ninja's originally stiff body moved directly, and the body protection that seemed to have been dispersed by the illusion suddenly unfolded at this moment. With a sweep of chakra, the delicate chakra power steadily blocked the attacking Uchiha. As he raised his hand, two blows mixed with fine chakra palm power hit Madara's teammates, knocking them back and spitting blood on the ground. They were directly seriously injured and had no ability to fight again. You were pretending just now. At this moment, Uchiha Madara, with his Sharingan, saw the opponent's completely changed aura and fighting spirit, and he knew that the guy on the opposite side was pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. At this moment, the opponent looked at Uchiha Madara with some regret on his face and said, "It's a pity that I didn't hook that guy out. I don't have much time, but seeing that they are fighting with you as the main force, I think your status as in it is not low among the Uchiha clan." Quote, "Killing you is also to solve a great enemy for the Senju." The other party said to himself, but the next moment he did not give Uchiha Madara any chance to think, and attacked Uchiha Madara without hesitation. This attack was completely different from the previous fight. The speed of the ninja was so fast that even Madara could not keep up. Bang! A gust of fist wind hit Uchiha Madara's body, and the fist force containing chakra passed through his body. But the next moment, Uchiha Madara's body turned into white smoke with a bang, and a piece of fallen wood appeared in the original place. The clone technique and substitute technique are special combined. The clone will not disappear instantly after being attacked, creating the illusion of being hit, giving itself enough opportunities to counterattack or escape. At this moment, Uchiha Madara walked out from behind the big tree on the other side. His expression remained unchanged, but looking at the substitute wood that was smashed into pieces by the ninja, he felt lucky in his heart. At this moment, he was somewhat grateful to Uchiha Yu. If he had not seen Uchiha Yu's instant body technique and had fought with him several times, he might not have such reaction speed at all. Is this your speed? It's much worse than a guy the first no. Quote, tactically despise the opponent, strategically take the opponent seriously. At this moment, Uchiha Madara unconsciously recalled a sentence that Uchiha Yu said playfully when he fought with him. Recalling this moment, Uchiha Madara suddenly found that his little cousin's words were all true. The ninja on the opposite side looked at his missed attack with a little surprise, but there was not much ripple on his face. However, at this moment, the ninja's eyes became more dangerous. Silently, the ninja moved again. This time, the ninja was faster and more ruthless, and even had a feeling of not caring about the consequences and not caring about his own injuries. Faced with such a crazy fighting style of the ninja, Uchiha Madara could only bite the bullet and try to dodge even though he had a strong sense of combat. Even so, the continuous attack for a while still made Uchiha Madara recover from some injuries. If this continues, Uchiha Madara may be defeated at any time due to carelessness in the next moment. And in the battle of ninjas, defeat means death. Uchiha Yu, who was observing secretly, saw this scene and slowly drew his sword from his back, ready to fight. However, at this moment, Uchiha Yu's hand suddenly stopped. Because under the Sharingan, he saw Uchiha Madara, who was in a crisis, with a layer of black lines on one side of his face, and a cold and condensed chakra emanating from his body. That chakra made Uchiha Yu feel a sense of crisis. At this moment, Uchiha Madara became a little different. With the fighting spirit rising in his eyes, a pair of eyes spun quickly and suddenly turned into two Magatama at a certain moment. The chakra that brought Uchiha Yu an unknown omen also blended with Uchiha Madara's original chakra when he opened his eyes, causing Uchiha Madara's chakra to increase dramatically. Uchiha Madara, who had always been at a disadvantage, was able to keep up with the speed of the ninja when he opened his eyes, and was able to gradually deal with the ninja's attack and make appropriate counterattacks. All this excited the surrounding Uchiha members. Although they didn't understand what happened to Uchiha Madara, as Uchiha who liked to explode and turn the tide, such a change made them feel that Madara had a good talent. Only Uchiha Yu, who was far away, looked at the scene in front of him, and his face was solemn and a little more aware. It turns out that Black Zetsu has been living in Madara's body for so long. No wonder, Madara had never had any doubts about Black Zetsu before he was attacked. Uchiha Yu looked at the changes in Madara, especially the black lines attached to half of Madara's face. That was not the curse seal behind Uchiha Sasuke, but more like a special power rooted in Madara's body. If Uchiha Yu didn't know the future plot, and didn't know that Madara would have an incarnation of Otsutsuki Agarwood in the future, he would never have thought of the problem of that thing. Black Zetsu, that black thing is Black Zetsu as expected. Seeing this scene, all the doubts in Uchiha Yu's heart were relieved. In the sneak attack at that time, the Byakugan Uchiha was Black Zetsu as expected. To be precise, it was the predecessor of Black Zetsu. He lurked in the Uchiha, waiting for the arrival of the next Indra, and at the same time secretly planned to test the temperament of each generation of Indra. That night, if Uchiha Yu was not wrong, Black Zetsu should want to kill the younger generation of Uchiha, mainly killing several brothers of Uchiha Madara. In this way, he tried to stimulate Uchiha Madara to open his eyes. Although the process was slightly deviated by Uchiha Yu, Uchiha Madara still opened his eyes, and the predecessor of Black Zetsu also completed his mission and died calmly in Madara's hands. While Madara was unconscious, Black Zetsu entered Madara's body and became a part of Madara's power, silently helping Madara grow, and also silently influencing Madara. It was like another personality of Madara. In the future, Uchiha Madara opened his samsara eye, and when he was dying, he stripped Black Zetsu out of it by yin-yang escape, thus turning into that black state. Uchiha Madara just thought that it was another self, even if this self and his personality might not be similar, he would not doubt that this self would harm himself. In this way, there was the incident of Black Zetsu digging out Madara's heart later. Black Zetsu, it's really amazing. Understanding everything, Uchiha Yu couldn't help but give a thumbs up to Black Zetsu. Except for the last time he opened his heart and secretly guided the Moon Eye plan, Black Zetsu at other times was really like the old man in the ring to Madara. Uchiha Yu was a little envious. At the same time, Uchiha Yu was not worried at all whether Madara would have a butterfly effect that would die halfway because of him. But soon, Uchiha Yu realized a problem again. How much influence does Black Zetsu have on Madara when he lives in his body? Is it just to protect him, or will it affect his spirit? When Uchiha Yu thought of this, he knew that he couldn't continue to spy here. Whether it was the suspicion of the ninja's situation or the consideration of Madara's state, he was ready to do something at this moment. The next moment, Uchiha Yu's figure disappeared from the spot. At this moment, the battle on the battlefield was still intense, but because of Uchiha Madara's outbreak, it seemed to have given the Uchiha a kind of encouragement, making them more motivated to fight. The battle gradually moved towards the Uchiha side tilt. The physical ninja didn't seem to expect Uchiha Madara to explode on the spot. He was attacked by Uchiha Madara without noticing. Because of the continuous consumption, his body could not maintain the defense around him, and scars began to appear on his body. However, Uchiha Madara's fighting spirit became stronger and stronger under the blessing of Black Zetsu's power. His pair of 2 Magatama Sharingan kept flowing, initially showing the edge of the Shira of the ninja world. And the ninja seemed to feel that the situation was not good. In the fight, he directly resisted Uchiha Madara's frontal knife, stepped back with his toes, and quickly distanced himself from Madara. The next moment, the ninja took out something from his arms, a flame appeared in his hand, and a flame rushed from his hand to the sky, and then roared. Not good, it's a signal bomb. Seeing this scene, although Uchiha Madara didn't know what the ninja had, he knew that he couldn't fight for a long time. However, before Uchiha Madara opened his mouth to prepare to retreat, the ninja's aura suddenly surged, and the chakra around his body was faintly bloody, and his face showed abnormal blood color. All of you stay with me. The 1,000 hands are destined to win. After the ninja finished speaking, the whole person was like a beast burning with blood-red flames, and he pounced on Madara. Facing the opponent's attack, even though Madara's fighting power soared after the evolution of Sharingan, he still did not dare to confront him head-on. After all, at this moment, the ninja came with the determination to die together. Even if he caught the opponent's move, who knows if this madman has other tricks. Therefore, Uchiha Madara relied on his flexible combat reaction to dodge the opponent's attack. And the ninja missed the attack, and looked at Madara with a little regret on his face. This look made Madara panic. Because he was too familiar with this look. There was something similar in the eyes of the Byakugan Uchiha during the sneak attack. Madara suddenly thought of something and said to the Uchiha ninja not far away, "Everyone be careful, don't let this guy get close, he wants to fight to the death." Madara spoke very quickly, but no matter how fast he spoke, he was not as fast as the ninja who had overdrawn his energy. The ninja moved quickly and dodged Uchiha Maru, attacking him brazenly. Although Uchiha Maru's reaction ability was not as good as Madara's, he instinctively drew his sword to block the ninja's sudden attack under Madara's reminder. Uchiha Shi, Uchiha Ru, and Uchiha Yi, at the moment when Uchiha Maru was attacked and flew backwards, each used their own moves to attack the ninja. Although the ninja's physical skills were not bad, he was in a state of complete explosion at this moment, that is, a state of full force, and he could not maintain his own chakra defense at all, but he did not dare to resist the attack of the 3 people head-on. The figure flashed, and the ninja moved several times in succession, avoiding the attack of Uchiha Shi and others, but suddenly turned back and went to Uchiha Izuna who was fighting with Uchiha Ming on the other side. At this moment, although Uchiha Izuna was full of fighting spirit, the long battle had already exhausted his body. Facing the attack of the ninja, even if Uchiha Izuna was prepared, it was difficult for him to react for a while. At the critical moment, Uchiha Ming suddenly appeared in front of Uchiha Izuna. He slashed with his sword and hit the rampaging ninja head-on. This attack directly knocked Uchiha Ming back. However, in this attack, Uchiha Ming slashed out a sword light that he was not very familiar with, breaking the last defense of the ninja and leaving a blood mark on his body. However, the ninja at this moment was risking his life, regardless of his injuries, with a death determination, and he would take someone with him. Uchiha Izuna was stunned in front of this ninja. It was too late for Madara, who was not far away, to come over instantly. At this moment, he felt death enveloped his whole body. Under the crisis of death, a touch of scarlet flashed in Uchiha Izuna's eyes. He opened his eyes. However, Uchiha Izuna is not Madara. He does not have the Black Zetsu grandfather in his body. He cannot improve during the rampage, but he can also increase the amount of chakra. After Uchiha Izuna opened his eyes, he not only consumed the last chakra, but also overdrawn a part of it. At this moment, except for his bright red eyes, he has no ability to resist. Am I going to die? Uchiha Izuna is unwilling at this moment. He still has many things to do. He has not stood behind his brother yet. He has not defeated that hateful guy. He has not made efforts for the glory of Uchiha. He is going to die now. And just when Uchiha Izuna's life was going through a revolving lantern, a figure appeared silently in front of him. To be precise, it appeared behind the ninja who rushed towards Izuna madly. Under Izuna's Sharingan, the figure appeared at a speed more terrifying than that ninja. In the slow-motion world of Sharingan, the figure seemed to have a normal speed. A flash of knife light passed by. Uchiha Izuna saw the blade of the figure, and easily cut across the opponent's neck. The blade was swift, silent, but brilliant and sharp. The ninja's body was still rushing towards Uchiha Izuna, but his head was sliding down under the strong wind. Bang! The ninja's body came to Uchiha Izuna due to inertia, but because there was no head, he lost his balance and missed Uchiha Izuna and hit the tree trunk not far away. And the head, which was still ready to die, fell at Uchiha Izuna's feet after a roll, with madness, eagerness, and unwillingness in his eyes. The eyes before death looked at the figure that suddenly appeared, gradually relieved, and the pain of struggle slowly dissipated. "Sorry, I'm late," Uchiha Yu spoke, as if he was talking to Izuna, and as if he was talking to other Uchiha. It's not too late, but if it's any later, I'll definitely make you suffer when I go back." When Madara saw Uchiha Yu appear, he breathed a sigh of relief, but he looked at Yu with some complaints. However, even Ban didn't realize that he had already regarded Yu as an existence of the same level. Even, temporarily, stronger than him. Yu wanted to refute Madara's performance, but suddenly heard a roar from afar. Then, they saw that a hilltop surrounding this area not far away began to collapse at a speed visible to the naked eye. No, rather than collapsing, it's more like a non-Newtonian fluid that was constantly exerting force. Suddenly, without external impact, at a speed visible to the naked eye, it turned into a pool of liquid, spreading to the surroundings at a speed as fast as a bamboo. And one of the directions is this side. Mudslide, run. Uchiha Yu discovered this and was the first to react. He turned around and prepared to run. However, before leaving, he hesitated for a moment, but still helped up the Uchiha clan member who was severely injured by the ninja before, and was also Madara's ninja partner in Baiwu town, and left in an instant without looking back. He saved the people, and as for the others, it was none of his business. After that, it was the process of the Uchiha racing against time. The middle was very tortuous, the process was very difficult, but the ending was not bad. All the Uchiha members survived. Of course, 3 were seriously injured, 4 were slightly injured, and 1 was ambushed in the battle and died, but the body was sealed and brought back. Although the Uchiha clan won this battle, they did not get too much benefit. In the end, Uchiha Yu took out a scroll with some reluctance. There was a part of the resources he found in it. Although not much, it was not a loss in the end. However, after this incident, especially when Izuna was almost killed, Madara showed a strange state that Uchiha had never seen before. Soon Uchiha Tajima issued an order. Madara was transferred back. Some Uchiha ninjas stationed in Baiwu town were transferred back with him, including Uchiha Jing, Uchiha Gong and others. Some of these people will go to the battlefield to fight against the Thousand Hands, and some will become Madara's guards. No matter which one, it is considered important for this group of Uchiha, which made them excited for a long time. However, what Uchiha Yu cares about is not the departure of these people, but his staying. Yes, he was kept by Uchiha Tajima. Although I don't know which idiot reported him that he disappeared during the battle and almost caused the whole army to be wiped out, Uchiha Yu is still quite satisfied with this arrangement. And the happiest one is Uchiha Ming, because he was also kept by Uchiha Tajima. He has 2 tasks. First, observe Uchiha Yu's reaction. Second, assist Uchiha Yu and manage the situation in Baiwu town. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.